All right, welcome in for Total Bases. It's Wednesday. That means we've got a full slate. That means we've got day baseball. A lot to talk about here. If you're new, we go for an hour. All Major League Baseball, free picks, but really a deep dive, a lot of analysis here. So welcome in if you've been here all year. Appreciate you guys grinding it out with us. We won the parlay yesterday. We're back ahead on the parlays. We will have another one for you by the end of the show today. Brian Leonard, we got to start with the Yankees-Astros. Think that the panel kind of liked the Yankees last night. They get it done. There's another game today, and there was a situation last night where a pitcher very possibly may have thrown at his own catcher out of frustration. So I'm also interested in the chat's take on that, because I think it was as cut and dry, one of the most intentional things I've ever seen. And then you've got these two guys like almost like they committed a crime trying to cover it up after the game, like coordinating their stories and saying some of just the most just nonsense. Cesar Salazar said, well, it's too many Yankee fans in the stadium. Excuse me? Like what? There's so many Yankee fans that you can't hear your pitch comm? Oh, I must have pushed the wrong button. Haven't done that all year. So you did it, the pitch after giving up a grand slam when you guys argued about the pitch. Very interested to see what the chat has to say. If you want to weigh in on that, go ahead. But also, we got to talk Yankees-Astros because there's a baseball game today. And who knows what that did inside the clubhouse. Just a very interesting situation ahead of a huge game in Houston tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I'm thankful for the Yankees yesterday. That was our big winner for our clients, 4% play. A tremendous run on 4% and 5% plays. We're now number 2 for the last 7 days overall and number 1 for the last 30 days. So it's been a grind. I don't put out a lot of plays, but we're back up there where I feel that we should be. We're looking at the Yankees in Houston here. Warren against Alexander. Warren and the Yankees about a 125 favorite, total of 9. I watched that game and I saw that pitch, and there's no doubt in my mind that he did that on purpose. That's all I got to say. It could be wrong, but I doubt it.
I'm just scrolling the comments that come in on the screen as they come in, as you break down Yankees-Astros for today.
I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't buy into conspiracy theories. That was clearly on purpose. Okay, Will Warren. 4.30 ERA, 4.38 expected, 1.40 whip. Been a little bit up and down so far. His extension is great, 82nd percentile, walk or strikeout rate 68th, but pretty much everything else is in the lower half of the league. This is a guy who throws 5 pitches. He's mostly the four-seamer, and he throws it less than league average. He's at 93.2. League average from Reddy is 95. So he's not a guy I'm running out and looking to back in the most situations. Houston going with Jason Alexander, who continues to kind of flummox me a little bit. His season, he's got a 4.61 ERA, 4.72 expected, 1.37 whip. The only thing he's better than league average in really is his ground ball rate, 66 percentile, but yet his numbers, he continues to get wins. He continues to go. He's 4-1 on the season. You know, obviously wins don't tell much, but still 4-1 on the season. But with the 4.61 ERA, his numbers are ugly. If you take a look at his base numbers, 3rd percentile chase rate, 6th percentile hard hit rate, but he keeps his team in the game for some reason. Throws 5 pitches, basically his sinker and his change are what he uses. What I do like is his four-seamer only throws 92 miles an hour, only throws that 10% of the time. So he's been coached up pretty well. He's getting the best of what he has. Problem is, I don't think he has a lot here. My first glance at this would be the over. We're looking at basically right now, we're looking at the 9, and it's a decent hitter's ballpark. It's plays more neutral, but there's the Yankees have a lot of power, and Houston knows how to pull. And if you pull to left field, if you get ahead of the pitch, which is the big thing, that the Crawford boxes are there, and that's what Houston is known for. That's why they brought in a few players in the offseason that could do that. So I kind of like the over in this one. I prefer the offenses better than the defenses, even though Houston is not hit well over the last month or so. They're barely holding on. They're winning 3-2 ball games. But with these two pitchers on the mound, I kind of like the over.
Yeah, I won my $5 play yesterday. I had the Mets. I went with McLean against the Tigers, and that came out all right for me. Swept MLB 2-0. I don't think 2-0 you should say sweep though. I think it should be at least 3, but win 2-0 anyway. And I do have my spreadsheet with all my pitcher projections available for free download at my page at wagertalk.com, so go check that out. Regarding this game, yeah, that was a jerk move on Valdez's part. He did that on purpose. He's a jerk move. You could see it on his face. He was ticked off. Pitchers and catchers have a special relationship. Some teams actually change the catcher for one game just to suit the pitcher. They have a special relationship, and Valdez, just a jerk. Good pitcher, but absolute jerk. I don't think it's going to affect the team in today's game, though. It'll probably affect him when he pitches next time, but they'll probably switch the catcher next time he pitches. But like Brian said, Alexander, not a really good pitcher, but the numbers really like him. I mean, he does have a really good walk to strikeout ratio, and he did go 6 innings and shut the Yankees out for 0 runs in his, what was it, a month ago? But that was in New York. So today it's at Houston, and Will Warren has a real discrepancy between his home and away numbers. Pretty bad road pitcher, 5+ ERA on the road. Against Houston, no sample size, so can't really count that. Alexander has good numbers against these Yankees, but that's mainly because he just pitched 6 shutout innings against them in New York. I don't think he's going to be that lucky this time. Well, I don't know if I'll call it luck, but he had a good game. I don't think he'll have a good game this time, though. I agree with Brian. It would be over or nothing for me here. You need both sides to contribute to an over. And 2 days ago, I'd be concerned about Houston, their bats, but they did have a couple games where their bats woke up. Not yesterday per se, but a couple games before that. So I think their bats will wake up here today. I think they can hit Warren. I would go with an over here as well.
Couple comments before I get into my breakdown. First, great call on the Mets yesterday, TB. I won my $5 play as well on the Pirates. But if you want to see something nasty and just a good image of why Nolan McLean is as good as he is, go to my Twitter. I tweeted Rob Friedman's post of him tunneling his pitches, and it is very impressive. The arm slot and where the ball comes out on the sweeper and then the pitch that moves the other way is almost identical, and they end up nowhere near each other. And it's probably why he has been virtually unhittable since coming up. So great call there. Second thing, someone in the chat said Trig's got to lay off the twisted tees. I didn't even know twisted tees still existed. I didn't realize that. Twisted tees is like the OG. That's like I remember hitting a couple of those when I was in college. I think it's probably been about 10 years, Brian, since I've had a twisted tea, and it was like a tall boy from the gas station. I just don't drink as much anymore. The third thing, and I'll tie this back into this game, is I will say, like, just one more comment about the interaction between Valdez and Salazar. You can't tell me that there's not going to be guys in that clubhouse that have opinions on the matter. I don't care. Like, there are going to be guys in that clubhouse that lean one way or to the other based on what happened. And I don't see how in any way, shape, or form that's a good thing for Houston going into this game. Now I'll go back to what I talked about yesterday for a minute. I think the Yankees might be coming. I said I was going to want to find a way to play them in this series. I passed on the game yesterday, proved to be a great spot to do so. I don't dislike the spot today. I think you're paying a little bit of a worse price, but minus 125, it's still pretty reasonable. Now, Will Warren's a guy that's been very hot and cold, super inconsistent. When he's bad, he's bad. When he's good, he can be pretty good. But, he's got a nice fastball, good movement, locates it, reasonably well. When he locates it well, it's good. When he doesn't, he gets in trouble. So I still lean toward the Yankees here, and I think that I don't know if this will be a play for me or even one I consider. It was on a list for me of about 11 games today, so I really have some paring down to do. But I'll sort of double down on what I said yesterday. I think the Jays are going to have a heck of a time trying to hold off this Yankee team. It just feels like the Yankees are clicking. They're not making some of the same mistakes they made to cost them games a month ago. They have their run differential is plus 140 right now. It's got to be one of at a quick glance, it's got to be one of the best marks in the league. The team they're chasing down that now only has a 2.5 game lead on the division, only 58 and having big time bullpen issues. Hate to say it, I'm kind of in on the Yankees right now. Could only play the Yankees here in this game. Go ahead,
Can I make
TV.
a quick comment about locker room stuff? Catchers are the most popular guys in any locker room. Everybody loves their catcher. Every team. I've never seen an exception to it. So, like you said, if it's going to be split, it's going to be split in favor of the catcher because everyone loves the catcher in every clubhouse.
Such an odd dynamic here because it's a young catcher that's unproven against a pitcher that's been around for a while. So it's
and is good.
I don't know. I don't see that creating decent, like good vibes in the Astros locker room. Whereas like the vibes are high for the Yankees right now. They're playing as good as they've played all season. I would have no interest trying to step in front of the Yankees here. Turnbuckle Tommy says that Pirates plus 1.5 was a beautiful thing as well. Wish I would have just played at money line. I'm actually thinking about going back to Pirates plus 1.5 today. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same thing too, except I don't know that the bullpen sets up quite as nicely today. Obviously, we had the benefit of getting Chandler, even though he wasn't as sharp as we've seen him in bulk previously. But I'm with you, Tommy. I'm still thinking about and I'll probably be here all month. Pirates, I think, are a very undervalued team right now. Once again, the plus 1.5 line gets you minus 110, minus 115, very playable number. This is another one that's on my very long list today. Brian Leonard, any interest in going against the Dodgers after an outright loss here?
We've got Tiny listed, and Tiny's, from what I've been reading, is going to be starting today. But when I go to the StatCast page, they don't have a Tiny list. They have it blank, so I can't comment too much on that. I will say that I agree. Pittsburgh, I thought Ashcraft's a guy I want to bet on right now. And although Otani's is a great pitcher, he's been very good and he's extending his innings. You still take a look at that, what he's done, and does he really deserve to be that big of a road favorite here? You mentioned the run differentials earlier, and yes, the Yankees are number 2 on the season and still following Milwaukee. And the Dodgers aren't even up 100 runs anymore. So it's a game that obviously it means very little to the Dodgers. And, it always means more when a team plays the Dodgers because they're the champs and, big salaried team. So I kind of like Pittsburgh here too. I do like the situation with Ashcraft on the mound. He's been nothing but great so far. 2.58 ERA. 3.17 expected, 1.15 whip. Take a look at his StatCast page, and really, the worst thing he has is his 44th percentile extension. This is a guy who's really coming into his own. Throws 5 pitches, although his four-seamer throws second, 32%, slider 33, and his curve 20. That's really what he bases it mostly on. But his fastball is 96.9 miles an hour. That's good. That's almost 2 miles an hour better than Major League Baseball average. So yeah, I like the Pirates here. I could play them plus the money, or I could take them on the run line here. The total's only 8, so it's been bet down from 8, slightly bet down from 8.5, 120 to start it off. But yeah, I like Pittsburgh. You got to find a way to bet Pittsburgh on this one. Maybe we play the Dodgers team total under. Maybe we play Pittsburgh, but maybe we play Pittsburgh plus 1.5. But I have no problem playing on the Pirates today. That's a pretty good bet, I believe.
Yeah, guys, I have an MLB play out today already. Have not put a free play out yet, but I will after the show. Plus 105 units in 2025. So go check out my play. I'm sure these guys will have a play out as well. I'm going to kind of say what I said yesterday. Numbers love the Pirates, but my heart, I just can't do it because LA has so much talent. They're just not that bullpen, man. That bullpen is just so bad. Every time the Dodgers get a lead, you just know they're going to give it away. You just know it. And even Trinan was bad yesterday, which I didn't expect. Then they got I mean, their bullpen is just a mess right now. Pirates look sharp. This is a cover the logo kind of thing. Pirates are hitting better. Their bullpen's playing better. And their starting pitcher is pitching better than Ohtani. I hate to say it. But one thing about Ohtani, his strikeout prop, 6.5. Little high, I think, because we don't even know if he's going to finish 5 innings. 6.5 is high. But when you look at how he's been pitching this season, he's striking out 13 guys per 9. Pittsburgh's striking out 9 per 9. So I don't know if he's going to get to 7. It seems pretty high to me. So that's one way I might think about going. Looking at Braxton Ashcraft, yes, he's pitching really well. They slid him from a relief role to a starter role, and he's been the starter for, looks like, 3 starts now. He's gone 5+ innings, 5 or more innings in every start, and he's only given up 2 earned. That's pretty good. But one of those starts was the Rockies. He faced the Cardinals, very average hitting team, and then he faced the Cubs, which is a pretty good team. So, yeah, he's been tested. I think 3 starts is enough to say he's a legit, pretty decent, legit pitcher. Will he get blown up today? It's possible, because the Dodgers are angry. And even when they lose, they seem to score 7 runs no matter what. So, I don't know. This could be a high-scoring game. I think Ohtani's strikeouts under 6.5 would be a decent play, and I think the over again would be a decent play.
I like the Pirates again here. I don't know if I'll throw it in the parlay. I don't know if it'll make my client card, but it's certainly close. You talked about Braxton Ashcraft. He was always a starter. That was like, this is like what the Pirates, I guess, are doing these days. Like Bubba Chandler, who came in relief yesterday, always a starter. They bring him up. They put him in the bullpen. Braxton Ashcraft was always a starter at AAA. They brought him up, had him throw some long relief. I don't know if this is like something that they're doing from like a developmental standpoint. I don't hate it. Certainly helped Ashcraft because he kind of, I feel like, got refocused a little bit, because prior to Ashcraft being called up, he had a couple shaky outings. So maybe it's just something they're doing from a developmental standpoint to see how guys respond, and why not, right? Like, they're out of it. So like they had the ability to experiment a little bit. But I think what you've seen the last couple times out is what Braxton Ashcraft is probably going to be. If this organization didn't have a Paul Skeens, didn't have Bubba Chandler, we'd probably be talking about Braxton Ashcraft in the same sort of vein that Mets fans are looking at, like a Nolan McLean or someone like that. Like, he is that type of prospect. It's just he's been buried a little bit because the Pirates, I think Brian Leonard likes to say, they've been so bad so long. They've got all these good young pitchers now because they draft one in the first round every year, and they've done a good job at drafting pitching. So I think Ashcraft is the real deal. What I'll be looking for, a couple things. So the other thing that's really important here, Pirates keep playing good ball. I think they're now 9-3 in their last 12 games, and they're actually starting to hit a little bit, which is something the Pirates really hadn't done all year. I go back to a couple of recent call-ups. Cam Devaney up recently. They brought Nick York up. These were guys I was waiting for them to call up. Maybe we'll see Rafael Flores sooner than later. He's the catcher that they grabbed from the Yankees when they traded David Bednar. I think he's going to be really good. Great big guy. Like, he's going to be right now, what they have, one of the worst offensive catchers in the history of Major League Baseball, and Henry Davis. I know he doesn't play every day, but like, man, I'd love to see Flores at the bottom of that order, just making the Pirates better. The guy I'll be looking for today to be called up, which might put me over the edge here, is Justin Lawrence. When he's healthy, he's one of their best bullpen arms. He threw 3 times at Buffalo last week, and in AAA, he's on a rehab. He's now been rehabbing for a month. Again, no reason. They're kind of in this spot similar to the Orioles, like we talked about, where there's no reason to rush guys back. So he spent the entire month of August rehabbing. And I think the only reason they hadn't called him up yet was the command was a little shaky, had walked a couple of guys. Batting average against in the minors this month for Lawrence, 125. It's kind of what I expect from him. And the last time out, he threw all strikes, no walks. He kind of looked like it was like, okay, that's what we expected to see. That was Saturday. So I wouldn't be at all surprised, especially after yesterday where they used some relief arms, if he's added to the roster. And I think I could get behind that. Ashcraft, Lawrence, maybe 1 or 2 other bullpen guys. Probably back on the Pirates here. And by the end of the show, they may even be my parlay leg. But yeah, I my opinion hasn't changed a whole lot from yesterday. All right. Duffel. He says, did y'all talk about the fish yet? He likes them today. This is an early one. Brian Leonard, Marlins-Nationals. Yuri Perez had a rough go of it, to say the least, over the weekend. He came to Citi Field in a game that I think I actually ruined the parlay with the under in that game, which has never lost so quickly. I don't think there's ever been a under in one of our parlays that has killed a game so quickly than last Friday when Yuri Perez just got absolutely blown up by the Mets. Much easier task for him today, in my opinion. Not that anything's easy, but the Mets are so hot right now. Now he turns around, heads to DC to face a Nationals team that enters play at 55 and 83. So, Brian Leonard, does Yuri Perez bounce back today? Do you have any interest in taking the Marlins this afternoon?
Yeah, I was on that with you on the under. And that one was blown up early. It's nice when that happens. Better than a staff to sweat one out. If you're going to lose, you might as well get it over early. Plenty of other games to watch. Perez against Parker, who continues to get innings for Washington. They've lost their best pitcher now for probably the season, so there's no reason to bring him back. So this Washington staff is even worse than it was before. There's not a lot of talent. Savali pitched well yesterday. He's the one guy that I would look to play out of this Washington rotation. But Perez against Parker. Perez is about anywhere from 130 to 135 favorite here. Total of 9. I thought at first glance, all the same thing. I thought that the line was pretty cheap when you're taking a look at Miami right here. My concern is, since he did get blown up so bad in that game last time out, is it possibly an injury? We will see. He cruised around so well before that. But he comes in with a 4.04 ERA, 3.19 expected, 1.04 whip. His ground ball rate only in the 11th percentile, walk rate 28th percentile, hard rate 28th. A lot of that came when he was just coming back and it taken him a while to get his accuracy down and get his pitches toned. So it looked really good until last time out. I'm hoping it's a one game thing because there's really no reason for Miami to pitch him if he's injured. Definitely no reason to pitch him when he's injured. They're not going to the playoffs. So hopefully he's not injured. If it's not, then they're a pretty good bet today. The problem is I don't know if I want to trust my money with them. As you mentioned, a pretty good looking card today. I think there's a lot of value here. Mitchell Parker, 4.94 ERA, 4.89 expected, 1.47 whip. His extension, he's 6'4", is in the 86th percentile. Everything else stinks. It's really ridiculous here. He's got a first percentile hard hit rate, first percentile average exit velocity, second percentile expected batting average, third percentile expected ERA, fourth percentile strike percent. No, I'm not betting on Washington anytime he pitches. At least they're going to have to give me a whole lot better line than what this is. And I'm not going to take a 115 to a 120 on Washington in this one. It's either Miami for me, and hopefully I'm not scared off by Perez. But that's the way I would play it. And if it's something that maybe if he comes out in that first inning, it looks like his old self, maybe you can join it later on and get it in live betting and get a similar number here. So that's what I'll be looking for here. Maybe a live bet because I am concerned a little bit about the injury because it was so bad last time out. That's the way I'll treat this one.
Thanks, guys, for the live comments. Some of you said you're downloading my my pitcher projections. Go ahead and get it. It's free today. And if you do download it and take a look, you'll see that Yuri Perez has really good numbers against these national batters in his career. I think Mitchell Parker removed the Colorado Rockies pitching staff. I think Mitchell Parker could be the worst starting pitcher in Major League Baseball who gets regular starts. I mean, Senzatella is awful.
Well,
Senzatella came in the first inning when Freeland got thrown out yesterday. Senzatella looked good. I was watching that game. Senzatella actually pitched really, really well in that game. He looked great. So I was kind of surprised. Maybe he should be a middle reliever because he looked pretty good. But anyway, so Mitchell Parker allowed 31 earned runs in his last 8 starts. That's not good. He allows a lot of runs, and he's just an awful pitcher. The thing is, though, he has good numbers against these guys in his career. So I'm a little torn here. According to my rankings, Washington right now is batting 28th out of 30 in current form. Yuri Perez has really good numbers against him. I would either take Miami or I would take the Nationals team total in the first 5. It's 2.5. It's a little juice to the under. I think it's minus 150 to the under on Pinnacle. I don't know what it is on other sites, but that seems like a decent play to me. I don't think they're going to get 3 earned off Yuri Perez in 5 innings. So I might go that way. I might go Miami. We'll see. I mean, the game starts in 3 or 4 hours, so we'll see.
Yeah, I'm interested in the Marlins here. So I'll speak on, I guess, Perez and the injury. If there was any inkling that he was hurt, he would not be pitching in this game. And the reason I'm going to say that is they were very, very cautious with him earlier this year when he was rehabbing his injury. He spent, 2 months in the minors. Like there was, and I even remember kind of talking to someone that's pretty close to the Marlins team at the time. There was zero interest to rush him back whatsoever. And right now, there are so many deserving arms at Jacksonville that are at least like deserving of a chance that have pitched well all year, even if they're like middle relief guys, bullpen guys. There's just no way they're going to send him out there if he was even like a little bit hurt. They would bring like Morgan McSweeney up. They would bring one of the 6 relievers that have been really good at Jacksonville up. Like there's just so many other options that I just could not see a scenario where unless he just straight up lied to the staff, like unless he was just like didn't disclose anything. That's the only way he's that would go unnoticed and that he'd be sent out there today. So I think, and I watched every pitch of that game, I think the Mets are just on another level right now in terms of locked in at the plate. I think they blew him up, and it is what it is. Sometimes that happens. Citi Field Friday night, lights were a little too bright for him, in my opinion. So I actually kind of like him to bounce back here. I'm going to echo what TV said. Mitchell Parker, not someone I want to back. Nationals bullpen, not something I want to back. Terrible collection of pitchers, might be as bad as you're going to find in the league right now. So it would be Marlins or pass. My only concern with the Marlins right now, I don't know if I love this lineup anymore like I did earlier in the year. Xavier Edwards, I believe, went out with an injury the other day. Kyle Stowers has been out with an injury. Yes, you have Norby back. Yes, there's still a lot to like there in terms of like young talent, but like they went ice cold against Andrew Alvarez the other day. Like I think it's going to be a very hit or miss Marlins offense, and so you're going to have to kind of deal with that. I think for another 10 cents, I might be down to deal with it here. Minus 130, minus 135 is a little bit pricey, but if this somehow got down to like the minus 115, minus 120 range, I think I could definitely take the Marlins. And I wouldn't put anyone off taking the Marlins. It's just, for me, as I've said, I've got 11 leads today. And so I'm trying to like pare it down. Do I want to lay $1.35 when I could potentially bet something else that's a little bit better price? I'm not sure, but yeah, I think Marlins are pass for me here. Colin Gregory, yes, we just walked it off in the KT game. Let's go. That was a crazy game in Korea this morning. They choked away a huge lead. They just won in a walk-off. So we're fired up about that. Let's go. Travis, yeah, let's go to this is another day game. I'm interested to see what people have to say about this one. Because the Mets are blowing up just about everyone. TB was on the Mets yesterday. That was a win, and that was a way easier win than I thought it was going to be. Because the Mets just did whatever they wanted, crooked numbers everywhere. I mean, Brian, you mentioned this yesterday. The top of that order is so locked in right now, and those are guys that, like, when those guys are locked in, Soto, Lindor, I mean, these are not just anyone. These are, like, all-star MVP caliber type players. When those guys are locked in, would you even consider going against the Mets here?
Mets Holmes against Mines going for Detroit. And we're looking at basically a 115 favorite for the Mets, total of 9. or you can get the 8.5 over at a extended price there. When I'm looking at this game, Clay Holmes is now pitched 142 in a third innings. The last 2 years it was 126 combined. I'm still worried about him in this regard. Started the year really well, and now his ERA is up to 3.60. His expected is 4.35. His WHIP is 1.31. That's about what he's had in his career, so I'm not too worried about that. But his ground ball rate is great, 94th percentile, but this is a ballpark in which there's not many home runs here. So that kind of evens it out a little bit. And if he's playing in Cincinnati, one of those ballparks that get a lot of home runs, Yankee Stadium, something like that, I would love him better. But to lose that, that's it, with that being your main thing. And your barrel rate 71st percentile. So everything else pretty much is below league average. We're looking at his whiff rate 21st percentile, strikeout rate 22nd, walk rate 31st. So I really liked him earlier in the season. I like him less as the year goes on. Casey Mize, just the opposite. Coming into the season, I really didn't care for him, but he's pitched better than I thought. So comes in with a 3.95 ERA, 3.77 expected, 1.31 whip, a little high in that regard, but he fits in with his career. His extension, 88th percentile, walk rate, 81st percentile, but then everything else is about league average or worse. So we've got two pitchers here that I can go against and try to fade here. Total of 9. It did open 8.5, so he's bet up slightly, but that's the way I would take a look at it, is look for the offenses. Detroit's obviously Detroit's one of the better offenses that goes from 1 to 9. They got enough guys to fill in there. They got some other guys that are injured right now, but I like their offense overall, although they don't have fantastic players. They are all pretty solid major league hitters. And as you mentioned again from yesterday, we talked about it. The Mets are just so hot right now. They are burning hot. And with these two pitchers on the mound, I'll look for the over 9. And I think that's a pretty decent play in afternoon baseball.
So on my free downloadable sheet, I do have Clay Holmes. I always want to say Chris Holmes because he's a guitarist for Wasp. When I see C. Holmes, I just automatically say Chris Holmes. But anyways, Clay Holmes, yeah, he's got good numbers against these guys, but he compiled a lot of those numbers when he was a relief pitcher. And it wasn't this year. And it was with a different team. So those numbers can't be 100% trusted, but I do trust him a little bit. He's not a big strikeout guy, but I looked at his strikeout prop, 3.5 seems really low. You'll see on my numbers, I'm projecting him at 4.7. Granted, that might be skewed a little because most of those strikeouts he got against, I took a deeper look, and I think last year against the Tigers when he pitched for a different team, one inning he struck 2 guys out, and another inning he struck 3 guys out. So he got 5 strikeouts in 2 innings. So his numbers are a little inflated there, but he is capable of striking these guys out at that rate. 8.79 is one projection, and 4.7 is another projection. I think 4.7 is more around where we should be. His strikeouts is 3.5. So I think over 3.5 strikeouts would be a decent play here. Mets are batting a lot better than the Tigers right now. But the Tigers have the better bullpen, and the starters are comparable. So I don't think I'll be playing a side.
My gut tells me this is going to be Clay Holmes' last start for the Mets. I think this. So going back to what Brian said, the innings are getting up there, but more importantly, I think he's going to be the key to the Mets' playoff success, because in the playoffs, you have to have a guy that can come in like the 5th inning because remember, in the playoffs, you're facing elite lineups. You have to have a guy that can come in the 5th inning when a guy is about to turn the lineup over for like a 3rd time and then like lock it down for like 2-3 innings so you don't burn every leverage arm that you have. And I think right now the Mets are sitting there like, all right, we're in the playoffs. We're 5.5 back of the Phillies. So it's probably not realistic that we win the division. Maybe we'll change it. I just don't think the Mets mindset is let's go all out to try to catch the Phillies. I think if it happens, they'll be happy with it. But like, I really think that they're trying to spread the innings around right now, set themselves up for the playoffs. Why do I bring that up? Because I think ultimately they're going to move Holmes to the bullpen. Why does that matter here? Because they're in position to tell Holmes, hey, you're going to start, but like, go leave it all out there. We don't need 6 innings out of you today. Why is that? Because yesterday they didn't use anyone. They used 2 throwaway guys, right? Stanek right now, they might as well send to the moon. Like, he's useless. They don't need him. He probably won't be on the playoff roster. And I think Herget was the other guy that came in. He's a AAA guy. Like, he's not on the playoff roster either. So they're still sitting on Justin Hagenman, who hasn't pitched in a couple of days. Great long relief option. You know, I mean, he's hit or miss, but he's been good at the big league level. And if he is in there and throwing the ball well, he'll go 2 or 3 innings. And then you've got all your leverage guys. And right now the Mets are playing so good. I don't think they're going to and they've got a day off tomorrow. So there's really no reason to not unload the clip here, if you will, at the end of this game. They've got all the bullpen arms. And I'll go back to the beginning of the season. And I feel like I've said this at times throughout the year so far. This Mets bullpen should be one of the best bullpens in the league. I don't know how they've pitched themselves out of that scenario. I don't know what's wrong with Helsley and some of these other guys. On paper and at the top of their potential, this should be like a top 3 bullpen in Major League Baseball. My gut tells me they could trend in that direction going toward the playoffs. I just think having McLean and Tong there to fill starters roles, maybe getting Holmes back to the bullpen, I really think that this could be like an elite relief unit. And today you're going to have Holmes, who's been pretty solid. I think he's been fine. And you're likely going to have him back by every top Mets reliever here, because why not? They can't. You have a day off, and then you have a series coming up with the Reds. It would be very big if the Mets can grab another win here. I'll go back to what the chat has kind of said. You know, the Tigers have the luxury of going through the motions right now. I thought we would see them play a little bit better in September because other guys are getting a chance, but they kind of have the luxury of going through the motions the next couple weeks. I don't know how you can play against the Mets in this spot. They're another one that's on my short list today. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I'm going to throw out the next game because we're halfway through the show and none of us have put out our plays yet. But that point out, what you pointed out there is looking past what a lot of people do, is they don't pay attention to what's going to happen tomorrow. And a lot of these games, and the game I'm going to talk about, it has a similar effect. So that was a great point in putting out that they're not going to play tomorrow, and these guys haven't pitched for the last 2 days. Great job on that. And that, if you take anything, the viewers take anything out of this on this show, that's the one point that's very important. Take a look at tomorrow's schedule, see who's supposed to pitch and what they've got going on. I am going to use for my parlay play here, I'm going to take a look at that San Francisco game that helped us in the parlay yesterday. Thank you, Brandon. Robbie Ray's going to pitch for San Francisco, and Colorado's got Marquez going. Ray right now is about a $2 favorite with a total of 11. I like the over in this game. Robbie Ray is not pitching well right now, and it's not that he's not pitching well. He's also struggling mightily with his velocity. The list is now 2 games in a row in which he's about like 3 miles per hour down on his velocity, and it's really starting to show. Keep in mind, this guy last year threw 30 innings. The year before, he threw 3 innings. So he's been a workhorse in his career in 12 seasons, but he has not thrown this many innings in a while. Velocity's going down. He's going through a tired arm phase. I don't want to bet him. I don't want to bet on him in Colorado, I'll tell you that. 3.18 ERA, 3.64 expected, 1.16 whip, but that was all earlier in the season. I take a look at his average exit velocity, 11th percentile, hard hit rate, 18th percentile, ground ball rate, 26, so he throws a lot of fly balls. I think Colorado's going to have some success in this game, and I want to fade Robbie Ray. The problem is German Marquez, 6.14 ERA, 5.52 expected. He's coming back from an injury, by the way, but that was earlier in this last year in 2023, very similar. 20 innings in 2023, 4 last year. Now he's at 102 already. and he's not even in a good 102 this year. Just look at the StatCast page. It's blue all over. There's nothing. His fastball velocity, 59th percentile. That's his best thing. Everything else, single digits in just about everything. I'm not going to go through it and bore you. And as was just pointed out in the last game, neither one of these teams play tomorrow. So normally, a lot of times, you got to look at the getaway day. Well, we've got a similar total in this game, and we got Marquez, who's been horrendous all year. We've got Ray, who's been horrendous the last 2 weeks, both dealing with pitch counts that are really high on the season as opposed to the last 2 years. I love this over in this game. I think over 11 is a really solid bet here, and I'll use that for my free play today.
I would agree with Brian on that Robbie Ray is not exactly a great pitcher against these batters. As a matter of fact, he gets tagged pretty good. 289 average against in his career. It's not great. He's not the dealer that he was earlier in the season. He's fading a little. Marquez also doesn't have great numbers against the San Francisco batters, an 821 OPS against in his career. Add to the fact that not all those games were in Colorado, and this one is. So I definitely would not argue against an over there. I have taken San Francisco for 2 days in a row, but I'm not going to take them today because for some odd reason, it's so hard to win 3 games in a row in this league. And hey, San Francisco's probably going to win it because they're the better team, but I'm not willing to put money on it today. I was the last 2 days, but today I'm not.
I mean, I made this 12.5 on the total. So my numbers certainly agree with an over of 11. TB, I'm with you. Like I bet the Giants was the best bet for me on Monday. Yesterday, I loved the spot for them. It was just there was no value, but I was fine with you putting it in the parlay. That got the win. If the Rockies were going to steal one, it would be here. But the reason I will sort of, agree with Brian and say the way I would go with the over, they got 2 batters out of Kyle Freeland last night. That was their starter. And not only is he their starter, he's a guy that typically, if there's one guy that sometimes eats innings up for them, it's Freeland. He lasted 2 hitters before he got thrown out of the game. Ended up using Senzatela. Fine with that. But still, Zvili, Hill is the one guy I really like in that bullpen. Jaden Hill, I think, is actually going to be a pretty good reliever. He goes 2 innings last night. And so, again, you're going to you're looking at Marquez, Rockies relievers. There's got to be some runs there. If the Rockies can contribute at all, which Brian thinks they will, this one should soar over. I'm with you. The over makes a lot of sense. Colin, he says that Mets reminds him of the 2017 Astros. I was going to say the whole time I'm sitting here thinking, reminds me of the 2016 Indians. Brian, do you remember who the MVP of the ALCS was in 2016? Top of your head. MVP.
I remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
The MVP of the 2016 ALCS was Andrew Miller. And I think Clay Holmes. Right. Yeah. I think Clay Holmes could be that guy for the Mets, just going back to that last game. On this game, Brian, I agree with you. I'm all about the over here, and I love that you picked that for the parlay. All right, let's go to. I had a game I was going to go to here, and I lost it. TB, do you know what you want to put in the parlay yet? Because I don't. So I'm still kind of thinking about a couple of things we've already talked about already. Or do you have a game that you want to talk about that we haven't touched on yet?
Let me do this. Let me go back. Did someone take Miami in the parlay?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I think I will. Give me Miami Marlins in the first 5. I think that would be a good play. I think it's minus 130 right now. I think that's a decent play. I'm going to fade Mitchell Parker.
All right, so we'll go back to that at the end of the show since we already talked that game. We have a couple people. I'm going to go to this game. We'll get that at the end of the show when we lock in the parlay. Russell Deck in like half the chat, now that I'm seeing it, wants to talk Braves, Cubs. So Brian Leonard, Bryce Elder, our favorite 4A pitcher right here on the mound against Cade Horton, who's actually been really good for the Cubs. I think he's had a great rookie season so far. I think he's sort of been like anything that they could have wanted him to be at this point when he was sort of like highly touted coming up through the ranks. The other thing I'll point out about the Cubs, I mean, are they like, they're really trying to catch lightning in the bottle. They grabbed Aaron Savale. I saw Austin Gomber down at AAA pitching for Iowa last night, but they must have signed him off, when the Rockies released him the other day. So talk about that for a minute. Do the Cubs have enough pitching, and is Horton a guy that you would lay $1.50 with in a spot like this?
First of all, just for Brandon, keep in mind, he said 130. It's 145 at this point. I don't know if that changes anything or not. Okay. Nope. Elder and Horton. Horton's about a 150 and a total of 8.5, slightly to the under in this one. And Bryce Elder, a big punching bag of us all season long, but my memory serves me right. He's been pitching a little bit better lately. 5.85 ERA, 4.98 expected, 1.48 whip, and that's where he gets in trouble. His ground ball rate's good. In fact, it's very good at 86 percentile, but all his numbers are in the blue on StatCast. None of them single digits, so he's just generally bad. But he's not a guy I want, and he only throws 4 pitches. If you are a starter in Major League Baseball, the more pitches you have, the better. And because you see a lot of these young guys, Mizorowski and some of these other guys that come out, and they've only got 3 pitches. Some even come to the majors with 2, and they're so good on those 2 pitches they can get away with it, but not very often. So Elder's a guy I usually try to fade. Kate Horton is a guy that he's been good, but he hasn't been great. And he's been a pretty highly touted prospect for years for the Cubs. Cubs in nice 9-4 record. Of course, Cubs are a good baseball team, but 2.92 ERA, but 4.04 expected, 1.19 whip. I would think at this point, the rest of the season, he would play more towards the expected than the actual. Barrel rate, he's only in the 14th percentile, extension 26th, strikeout percent 32nd. Everything really on his StatCast page is mediocre. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just right down the middle, an average Major League Baseball pitcher. He does throw 5 different pitches, although the sinker is only thrown 5% of the time. His four-seamer, he throws 50% of the time. And I'm not a huge fastball guy if you ever watched this before, especially when you don't have a great fastball. Now, the average for a right-hander is 95. He's at 95.7. It's been enough to get him by right now. But in the future, he's going to lose velocity, and he doesn't have enough of his other pitches that he throws enough. So eventually he's going to have to expand a little bit. But out of the 2, yes, obviously I would prefer him over Elder, and you're getting him in that 150 range. I may be a little bit too expensive for me. Chicago's not been playing well, and I know they've got the better players, but that's probably going to be something I'm going to sit on the side for.
Oh, yeah, the Cubs are just a better team. I mean, I don't think anyone could argue with that. I mean, Horton's been pitching well. Elder is just atrocious. He's awful. And this Atlanta bullpen is even more awful. I got them ranked 24 out of 30 in current form. That's just awful. Cubs, I got them ranked 11 for bullpen in current form. Hitting, I got them both pretty even. But even with the hitting being even, I have the Cubs 10 points better than the Braves in this one. Doesn't mean they're going to win by 10 runs. It just, on my scale, if it's 10 or more points, I'm comfortable taking a side if all the other things pass the eye test. And I agree with Brian that the Cubs are not playing well, so I'm very hesitant to do this. But if I were to bet it, the Cubs would be the only way to go for me.
Same. Just no way I could take Bryce Elder at this point. I know he's pitched a little bit better, but like, yeah. And I'll go back to what I've been saying about the Braves for weeks. Like this is not the team that I think is going to play spoiler. Like the Braves are the team that I think got off the mat, had a nice month of August, which I wasn't necessarily expecting. Like they have played pretty good ball to this point, 7-3 in their last 10 games. And yet they're still 13 games back of the wild card. And there's going to be a point in time where I think they just call it a day. Like I said, it would be in September at some point because, hey, like Atlanta had a pretty solid August. And I'm sorry, I read that wrong. They're 4-6 in their last 10, and they've now lost back-to-back. So it's starting, in my opinion. I think you're going to see the Braves fade drastically this month. The reason I say that is they just don't have. So like I'm looking at two teams in the standings that have the same record in the National League. Braves, Pirates. They're both 62 and 77. The Pirates have all these young guys that are eager to get up, show what they can do. They want to get the experience, and they actually have like highly rated, good young talent. The Braves have veteran players who are not having great seasons, who thought that what they were signing up for was being on a team that was potentially going to go to the playoffs, and that have had like guys like Acuna, Marcelo Zuna, like the Olsen, like these type of guys have won before. So like there's just, how do you get out of the bed in the morning if you're the Braves, right? You gotta go to work for the next 3 weeks. I think this team is ready to call it a season. And then you look at okay, so are they going to play the young guys? The Braves don't have those young guys outside of like Drake Baldwin. Maybe I don't even know who else I would consider like really good, young, unproven talent on the Braves. They just don't have it. And Hurston Waldrop's pretty good. Like, maybe a couple of the pitchers, but the Braves just don't have that type of talent right now. So I think it's going to be a bad month of September for the Braves. Back-to-back losses already. I think they take another loss here. Not sure I can play that, but I think they take another loss here to the Cubs, who I do think, if the Cubs come to play, they're going to win this game. I don't know how to put that that doesn't need more sugarcoating than that. If the Cubs show up with Horton here and they have good at-bats against Bryce Elder, they will score, they will win. It's that simple. All right, I want to go to Brian. I know the game I want to talk about, and I'll see if either of you talk me out of this or agree with me, but I have an opinion in Angels-Royals that will likely close out our parlay. So let's talk about that game. Angels-Royals. I believe the Angels are going to start Caden Dana here, who's been up a couple of times and has not been very good. And it's probably Ryan Burgert for the Royals, who desperately need this one, 2.5 out of the wild card, and they can't afford to lose games like this. So, Brian, Royals, Angels, how are you seeing this one?
We're looking at Burgett is basically a 175 favorite and a total of 9, and there's no way the hell I'm laying 175 with Ryan Burgett. Caden Dana comes in. Keep in mind, this kid is 21 years old. He pitched last year for the Angels. They brought him up through 10 innings. As you mentioned, did not go well. They brought him up twice this year in a relief role. It did not go well. But if you got a 21-year-old guy that's getting major league experience, that tells you what they think of him overall. His numbers are ugly. I won't get into all that. But this is a guy I've been waiting to get up there and to get a chance. So I'm looking at any chance I get to play Caden Dana. He's currently the number 5 draft pick, prospect. But he's a guy. He's the future of this pitching staff, I believe. Ryan Burgett, his numbers are great. 2.67 ERA, 4.09 unfortunately expected, 1.11 WHIP. But if you look at his StatCast page, he's a lower volume. If a scale of 1 to 10 from an average major leaguer would be 5, he would be a 4. And yet he's gotten off to this great start, and that's why this line is so high, along with Kansas City, the need factor. And I always say, if a team is in the need factor, the need to win this game, they're just not very good. That's the whole point. They've had all season to put themselves in this position. He's in the 4th percentile ground ball rate, which is excellent in this ballpark for the most part. This year there's been more home runs, but normally it hasn't. But he hasn't been that good. He's not as good as what he is, and you're going up against Caden Dana, who's better than what he has shown, and you're getting $1.50, $1.58. Come on, this is a one-way. You find a way to play the Angels, or you don't play this game.
I'll make this nice, short, and sweet. I'm not going to play the game because there's too many X factors. The Royals rank higher in hitting and bullpen, but again, too many unknown factors here, so I am not going to play it. I'll probably play tomorrow when Lugo goes for the Royals, so I don't think he'll have two bad starts in a row. But for today, I'm going to lay off. Go download my pitcher projections sheet from my page at WagerTalk.com. It's free.
I was not expecting Brian to disagree with me that bad. I get where the price is. Totally understand that. But so here's my opinion on Cade and Dana. And I think there's two guys, in my opinion, that I hope their organization at the end of the season calls them into the coach's offices and says, hey, we effed up. That's our bad. Like, we're sorry. Didier Fuentes on the Braves is owed an apology from Braves management. The other guy is Cade and Dana, because Cade and Dana last year was as touted of a like, he was as high on my AAA pitcher power ratings when he came up from AA as anyone. And what the Angels have done is maybe what they're as good as any team in the league in doing, and that's ruining pitching. This Angels team just ruins pitchers, and Cade and Dana is another example. There was a scenario. So earlier this year, they called him up April 4th. Which was probably always too soon. It's one of those things where you should have just had him on the big league roster out of camp. I think he was possibly on it. They went a different way. He went into the minors, and then, of course, Angels needed a pitcher, so they called him up, gets crushed. It was a bad spot for him, goes back down. He's pitching okay. Then he has a scenario where I bet the game, so I remember this. He didn't have it in the first inning. So they took him out after a third of an inning and tried to give him a start a couple of days later against the same team. Gets bombed. Shocker. That was ever going to work out. Then he gets called up again to face the Marlins. Crushed. So that's his 2 times. Now he's gone back down, injured, middle of June. Probably because they're dicking him around. He's a starter. Now he's out of the bullpen. We've got him out of the bullpen here. Now we're going to start him. Now we're going to start him after letting him throw an inning when he didn't have it. Just a total shit show. Should have never happened. Hurt. On the IL for a month. Comes back. Crushed every single game since he's been back. It's just been a total dick around for him. His ERA at Salt Lake this month is 6 in 5 starts, with a 253 batting average against and a 1.42 whip. So what did they say on short notice here? F it. Let's fly out to Kansas City. We'll give you the start here. It just this is what I'm talking about. I don't think he was even. I didn't hear he was starting until a few minutes ago. But the reason he's probably going to come up and make this start is the Angels cooked through their bullpen in last night's win. They used a lot of bullpen arms, so they probably looked at who was coming up and said, "Well, we already ruined this guy enough. Let's just throw him back out there and see what he can do." Not fair. Tough spot for him. And then after him, no bullpen arms because you used all the good ones last night. So I don't see the Royals stuck it to me twice last week. So I won't be surprised if they just vomit on themselves here for taking one of Tokyo Brandon's terms. If they puke all over themselves in a spot where they need to win, won't surprise me. But this is as good of a spot as you're going to find for the Royals on their home field. There's no way I can play it straight at the price. So to get some action here, I gotta put it in the parlay. So what are we looking at for a Royals money line right here?
Key word he just said. I'm not going to play it straight. That's where the value is in the line. Great back and forth. I love that. Appreciate it. Right now you're looking at in the parlay. We're looking at about 175. It's all over the place right now, but 175 is
that's fine. And real quick, Turnbuckle Tommy, we've hit back-to-back parlays multiple times so far. I just want to update everyone since we went through it a little bit on the parlays the last couple weeks. Someone says they barely hit parlays on the show. You must be new because here's what happened if you're new to the show. We got out to a hot start in the parlays. As you know, hitting 3-teamers, this is something we kind of do for fun on the show. We lost most of what we were up. Yesterday, we win. So coming into today, just to update everyone, and this, in my opinion, is pretty impressive. We have fired a parlay on this show every single day since April. And coming into today, if you were to play them for $1 for the same amount, so for let's say you played them for 1 unit or every dollar, let's say you put $10 on each one. For every dollar that has been risked, we're up 1.12 units, which means it's not much, but we're kind of showing that like we're able to grind a little bit in and listen, like I don't think any of the three of us would say, hey, parlay betting is smart. This is something we do for fun to just add some little bit of value for the show. Oftentimes, like yesterday, I told you the Pirates were my 4%er. So you could have just hit that straight and cashed with that. But I think we've done a pretty good job on the parlays overall. The fact that we are up ahead in September betting 3-team parlays on a show where we're essentially just putting our leans in a parlay is pretty impressive. So shout out to us. That's all I had to say.
And Brian can probably attest to this because Brian knows more about casinos in Vegas, but I heard somewhere that they make most of their money on parlays too, because people always lose them.
Yeah, they make all their money on parlays and parlay cards. Not to say it's not good bets once in a while, but in fact,
generally,
anybody out there, there's a new show on our network. I watched it the other day. Prez, I believe, is the host. He started doing the parlays based on what we do here because it's so much liked by you guys. Go back and look at them at the end of the football season, and nothing against those guys. They're all very good, and one of them's a bookmaker. But see what their record is after the season on 3-team parlays.
I want to know too.
Track it. I don't have time to watch that show, but somebody track that. I was watching it yesterday, and they're doing the exact same thing as we are.
So I don't watch any show I'm not on.
I don't have time to either, to be honest with you. Like but again, when we threw out the idea to do this early April, I think we were all like, shit, like we're tracking it. Like this is going to be hard. It's going to be really hard. The fact that we are sitting here on September 5th in the plus to me is a major accomplishment, but we're not done yet. We need to have a good September because I really want to get to the end of this show and be in the plus on the parlay. So Brian,
I know we have to end the show, but could you imagine if you bet our bets separately as 3, how much you'd be up? Probably quite a bit. Yeah.
I was going to say we've definitely got 2 of 3 on a number of occasions. So
many times.
We've gone 3-0 more than we've gone 0-3 also.
Yeah. Yes. Brian, what is the juice on that over in the Giants-Rockies game?
That is -115. The Miami first half is -145. And your Royals are -175.
And also, I want to make sure that like the other thing to point out, has nothing against the other show. It's that baseball is just is a little bit more of a beatable market than like I'm assuming they're doing like NFL sides and college football totals. Yeah. Really, really tough to beat the NFL. Against on sides and stuff, just very, very difficult. But anyway, let me get a number for that as my screen just shut down after I had it punched in. So I will read it as I punch this in. You said -115 on that total, Brian?
Yes.
Beautiful. Okay. So the parlay is going to come out to +396. That's actually not terrible considering TB and I went a little juice in on our legs. So Tokyo Brandon's going with the Marlins first 5 money line. I'm going with the Royals for the full game on the money line. And Brian Leonard's going with a total over 11 Giants-Rockies. So one more time on the 3-teamer. Marlins first 5 money line. Royals money line. And Brian says Giants-Rockies over 11. Pays +396. So we need to now I feel like the challenge is, can we hit them back-to-back day 3-teamers? I will say this, I don't think it's happened in a little bit. So I'd love to do it today. Let's hit another parlay. Win or lose, we'll be back at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. All the guys are going to have stuff up on their page today. TB's already got stuff up. I'll be probably locking in a play shortly here. I think everyone's on a pretty good run, so check out the different specials right now. I think we've got a 7-day all access that is pretty discounted, and that's for all handicappers. So take a look at that. We appreciate you guys tuning in. This show has been probably the most fun I've had on a WagerTalk show maybe ever since I've been working here. So it's been great. We'll be here all September and all playoffs. As far as I know, we're going to be here all playoffs. So we'll be with you guys for the long haul, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, win or lose. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you guys in the morning.
Welcome, everybody, to the NFL presidential address for week 1. of the 2025-26 season. I think this is probably your number 20 of the NFL presidential address, and we're going to go right back to the beginning. I'm going to do this show in free form. Last year and the year before, I would write notes and read them to you. Not this time around. We're going back to the way it was done at the beginning. I'm going to go through every single NFL game on the board. I'm going to give you bets on every single one of them. And we're going to start right now with the Thursday night matchup. Dallas playing against Philadelphia, and money is pouring in on the Philadelphia Eagles. 85% of the tickets placed in the last week have been on the Philadelphia Eagles. We are now at -8. And a lot of money is coming in on the over as well, 47.5. And I'll tell you right off the bat, guys, I like both the dog and the over here. I don't understand all this money pouring in on Philadelphia. I get that Micah is gone, but this is a division matchup where hope springs eternal. And what I mean by that is Dallas is not coming into this game feeling like their season has gotten away from them. They're not coming into this game feeling down on themselves because they lost the last 3. They're coming into this game expecting to make the playoffs, expecting to go on a run, and expecting to be a decent football team. They have a stacked offense, a decent O-line, and I actually think Kenny Clark will be better for Dallas in this matchup than Micah would be. What does Philadelphia do better than any team in the league? They run the ball. What does Kenny Clark do? He stops the run. What does Micah do? He sacks quarterbacks. Well, this bodes better for Dallas. I like them in this spot, and I like the over a lot too. Why? I think Dallas has got a lights-out offense. I think they'll end up in the top 7, 8 in offense on the league. And I think Philadelphia is going to be able to run the ball on this Dallas team and get themselves some points. I see this game going into the 50s. I like the dog, and I like the over. Now we turn our attention to the international matchup. Kansas City -3 against the LA Chargers. A total here of 45.5. Look, fairly even betting. 58% of the bets have so far taken on Kansas City, 57% on the under. I like Kansas City here, guys, but I don't like it a lot. I look at this LA Chargers team, and I think, look, they've overhauled their entire team. Their offense is totally different. They have a different defensive personnel as well, and I really feel like they're going to need some time to gel. And on top of that, we saw the Kansas City Chiefs roll out their starters for 3 preseason games. This team is getting ready for this game. I think they win this game with that, and I think they cover. With that said, I do like the Chargers over the season, and I do think we're going to see a regression coming out of Kansas City. Next up, Sunday matchups. Pittsburgh against New England, -2.5, -3 in some areas. 38.5 is the total, and I like the under here. What an incredible schedule matchup. We got Aaron Rodgers heading back to play the Jets. Who wants to win more? Do the Jets want to beat their old quarterback where it didn't work out? Or does Aaron Rodgers want to say, booyah, you stupid New York team, should have kept me? I don't know, but I do know that there's going to be very little scoring in this game. I think this Pittsburgh defense is lights out. I think the New York Jets are going to struggle to get past 16 points. I think the New York Jets defense is really good. And I think Pittsburgh, with an Aaron Rodgers that has played, well, almost nothing good in 3 years, I don't think they're going to score more than 16 points. This game is like 16-14 type written all over it. If I had to bet the side, I'd take the dog, but I don't. Take under the total of 38.5. Now we got Miami going into Indianapolis. This Miami team is super interesting. This is a team that we all expected to do really well last year. Then Tua gets injured, and now all of a sudden Tua's back, and we think this Miami team is falling apart. They're playing an Indianapolis team that's running out Daniel Jones, that has no wide receivers, that has very little defense, that has horrible depth. I don't see how you don't take Miami in the spot. Now, I understand that this line has moved against Miami, and a lot of wise money is coming in on Indianapolis. I just don't get it. I think Miami is a better team than most people think coming into the season. I think their offense is going to be better. Tua and Waddle worked out all summer together. I think they're going to be a nice connection there. And I would actually look to take Waddle over in receiving yards in this game as well. I think Indy, when all said and done, will be a bottom 7 team in the league. Take Miami, basically a pick 'em. Carolina playing Jacksonville. This is an interesting game here. A lot of money coming in on Jacksonville. This line was -3. It is now -3.5. The total here is 46. I'm just going to outright pass on this game. There's good vibes coming out of both dressing rooms right now. Both teams have this hope for the season coming up. Bryce Young looked good at the end of last year. Trevor Lawrence needs a redo. I think we're going to lay off this game and see what both of these teams are going to give us for the following week. Now we got Cincinnati playing Cleveland. Cincinnati a favorite. Guys, listen to this. Cincinnati is 1-11. That's 1 win and 11 losses against the spread in the first 2 weeks under Zach Taylor. That's right. Go back 6 years, and they have covered a spread 1 time in the last 2 years. Now, they lost last year to New England. Horrible loss. Set them back. You would think they would be like, we got to win this one. We got to win this one. Well, the year before they lost 2, and they didn't win that one. Why would I think anything is different? We have a depleted defense in Cincinnati. We have an offense that is not balanced, but does have 2 great wide receivers and an excellent quarterback, but lacks balance. We have a coach that struggles to get his team ready at the beginning of the year. And we have a Cleveland team that has heard nothing but horrible garbage all summer. This Cleveland team is going to be much better than people think coming into the season. This Cincinnati team is not going to make the playoffs. I would not be surprised if Cleveland wins this game outright. Take Cleveland plus the 5.5, one of my favorite bets on the board, Las Vegas. Geno Smith heading into New England. I love Mike Vrabel as a coach. We got New England here at -2.5. 61% of the money coming in on the Raiders. 71% of the bets on the under, and that's where I like right here. I think the under is a great play. I think the side is super interesting, and I'd like to see what each of these teams are going to do. We got a revamped Raiders team. We got a revamped New England team. I think we weighed it out, but I really struggle to see a lot of scores in this game. We got New England who's going to play to Mike Vrabel's identity, which is let's keep the game, the scores low. Let's keep the offense on the field. Let's run the ball. Let's slow the clock down. And I think we're going to see a very similar style out of Pete Carroll. I think the Raiders are going to be one of the top running teams in the league coming into the season. This total is way too high. Take under the total of 43.5. Arizona going into New Orleans, -6.5 for Arizona. I'm going to bottom line this one, guys. New Orleans is going to end up being the worst team in football. I really do like their coach, and I'm cheering for him. But, man, Spencer Rattler is not a quarterback. I don't see Alvin Kamara. I mean, I could be wrong. I think he's 70 years old. I don't know who's playing wide receiver. Their defense lacks, playmakers everywhere. If I had to bet this game, I would take Arizona. I just don't trust them yet. I do love their defense, but Kyler Murray is very inconsistent. -6.5 is too much. We're going to pass on that game. Now we turn our attention to Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Full disclosure, I think Atlanta wins the division. I think Tampa Bay regresses this year. I like Atlanta in this spot at home as a +2.5 dog. Why not? I think this Tampa Bay team is getting old. And I look at this Atlanta team, and I think they are loaded with talent. Offensively, they are stacked. And defensively, we saw a massive improvement out of this team last year. I think if Atlanta wins this division, they're going to need to win this game. This will be their division rival. It'll come down the division to these two teams. This game is crucial. I want the home team. I want the younger team. I want a team who has a better coach. And I think Atlanta will end up with a better defense. I like Atlanta plus the points. Tennessee playing Denver. What do I do for my survivor here? I feel like Denver is the right play. This Denver team has an unbelievable defense. I mean, maybe when all said and done, the best defense in football. The problem is I don't know what to expect from this Tennessee team. New quarterback, Cam Ward, too many points. I'm going to pass on this football game, and we're going to see how these teams do moving forward. San Francisco, -2, 2.5 against Seattle. 68% of the bets are put down on the 49ers, 83% on the under. I like San Fran here, guys, but I'd like to take them on the money line. I'm going to tell you guys right now, and we see this every year, San Fran is depleted. They are injured. They lost Debo. They were horrible last year. They lack depth. This is not their year. Sounds like the perfect time to take San Fran. I love San Fran at plus 150 to win the division. They are going to get Ayuk back 6 weeks from now. They will have CMC coming out of the backfield, Kittle playing in the slot. They'll have Ayuk stretching the field. This team is winning the division at plus 150. But for this game specifically, I think we're going to see a regression from the Seattle team. I do not believe in Sam Darnold. I think the San Fran defense is going to be spectacular this year. A top 3 unit. Salah is back. And I think the Debo trade helps San Fran. I think the Debo trade says to the dressing room, guys, the window is closing. It's now or never. I think San Fran is a team to bet in the spot and a team to bet to win the division. Detroit going into Green Bay. Wow. This is a sexy matchup. The division will likely come down to one of these two teams. Detroit is plus 2.5. 89% of the money is coming in on Detroit, 71 on the over. I agree. Detroit is the play here, guys, and Detroit is the play here on the money line. The bottom line is the more hype a team playing against Dan Campbell gets, the more I want to bet Detroit. I love this Mika trade for Detroit. I love everything about the Detroit Lions heading into the year. I think they are the favorite to win the division. I think they're the favorite to win the conference. I think they are the favorite to win the Super Bowl. I'm very high on Detroit, and I am not that high on Green Bay, although I love this Green Bay team moving forward over the next 3-4 years. They're still young. I think their defense is good but not great. I think their offense is really good but not great. I think Detroit is the best top 3 offense in the league, and I just love that they are a dog here. I like Detroit a lot in this spot. LA Rams -3 against Houston. I'm going to lay off of this game. I don't know what to expect out of this Houston team, and I'm deeply concerned about the LA Rams. I need to see what their offense looks like and their defense. Their defense I expected last year to be bad, but they ended up being good. I think we might see a regression on the LA Rams defense, and I just don't know what to make of this Houston team quite yet. We had a great Houston team 2 years ago, a regression last year. Let's see what they do this year. I'm passing on that game. Buffalo playing Baltimore. Oh my God. Is there a better matchup in all of football than this? Is there a better week 1 matchup than this? I'll tell you right off the bat, a lot of people are betting the under in this game. We saw this line move from 51.5 to 50.5, which is shocking, even though the public are betting the over. So here you have a game where 93% of the tickets are on the over, but the line is being bet down on the under, which means that there is incredible smart money coming in on the under. I'm going to stay away from the total in this game, and I'm going to give out the Buffalo Bills. Now, I love the Ravens and Buffalo this year, and I would not be surprised if they meet in the championship game. But, man, I want the home team here. I would take Baltimore if this was swapped and we were in Baltimore. I think the home team here is the right play, and I also think that Baltimore shows inconsistency. That's been the problem with Lamar since day one. Inconsistency. I think we get a mean, excited Josh Allen. I think Buffalo wins this game, and I got no issue if you bet it. Take Buffalo as a pick'em. Monday Night Football, Minnesota playing Chicago. I like the under in this game. I think Minnesota is rolling out a top 3-4 defense in the entire league. I think Minnesota is going to run the ball, even though they have JJ and Thielen just came back. I think we're going to see them be more of a running team with JJ McCarthy as their quarterback. And I think Chicago is going to play a conservative offense and allow Caleb to kind of come into the season. I like the under in that primetime game. I have a promo to give out. I should have given it out at the beginning of the show, but I forgot. Guys, my NHL Unbelievable. I am literally one of the best NHL experts in the world. I had a huge season for my clients last year. And the reason I'm talking about NHL right now is if you buy my entire NHL season, you can get my NFL for only $99. So you buy my entire NHL season, you get my NFL for only $99. That'll take you all the way through to the playoffs. That is a great winning package. Please join me for both NFL and NHL. I do have a 5% play up Sunday for my clients. I love this play. It's my favorite play on the board, obviously. And that's really it. If you guys like these shows, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to our channel. And please make sure to watch the NFL Presidential Address every single week. That's it for week 1. I'm Lawrence Presman. Thank you for watching.
Hey guys, Bill Krackomberger, John Orlando. We are on location this week over here in California, beautiful sunny California. We have a special guest this week, Matt Boyer, who I've known for many, many years. Been around the world with him, actually been to some places. And not that I traveled with him, but I just seen him there and played a tournament versus him. I actually got to the finals with him in a big tournament. We're going to talk about that. John Orlando here at my side. And Matt, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, we appreciate it.
I haven't been this excited to do a podcast in probably 4 years. Not since Dana. This is my most exciting episode I've been a part of since Dana White.
Wow. Okay.
100%.
Nice.
Looking forward
this
to
is,
this.
but only because we talked about it coming here too, how gambling is so widespread now. It's everywhere, every country. It's big overseas too. Australia's got terrible gambling problems. Now the United States, 7 years ago, Pabst was repealed. Gambling is basically everywhere in the United States now. And we felt so bad that this guy's actually going to prison involving gambling, even though he gave up so much. So, Matt.
The world's going to be a better place with you being locked up somehow. Bars. This is so crazy. What are we doing? This is so nuts.
You know, Matt, as a kid growing up on the East Coast, I was literally enamored in gambling. My family, my mother's Italian uncles and aunts. They always, on the weekends, the men played pinochle or poker. The girls played continental gin or something like that. But it was always for money.
Sure.
So I was 7, 8, 9 years old. We went to Monmouth Park Racetrack, Belmont, Meadowlands, not even thinking much of it. And it was like instilled in me where I grew up. And our parents didn't know. They didn't know that they were like, taking us around and stuff. And we become little degens, which I did. I grew up in a boardwalk town that was a gambling town.
Okay.
Out here, I always think so different. I think you guys are all like surfers having fun. There's no gambling. How did you get into gambling?
Well,
you grew up here?
Yeah, I grew up right here in Orange County. And I grew up in Cyprus. And in Cyprus, there's a Los Alamitos racetrack. As you know, it's only 8 minutes away.
Yep.
So I grew up where my grandparents would take me to the racetrack, and same thing. It was very casual. Just go there with them, and we bet $2 on a trifecta or whatever it was, something small. And then we would gamble in Yahtzee even, board games at the house. So gambling was always around me as well, even though we do surf out here, Bill. Yes, that is correct.
No, I know. I'm just being funny, really.
I know.
But we had like after-hour joints, too. When everything closed, you want to get even, you have after-hour joints, places that are literally crap games and stuff. If you're in North Jersey and New York, of course, Atlantic City had all the action down in Atlantic City.
Sure.
But I was going to Atlantic City when I was 16. I mean, I was a little DJ gambler, too. Did you, as a kid, was there games here, any poker games or any kind of other gambling, or was it sports betting back when you were a kid, or not really?
Well,
bookmakers.
If you read my book, Recalibrate, you'll see that I tell a story that I was running a poker ring in my house.
Oh, okay.
When I was 16.
Right.
And then that got shut down because one of the moms was doing some laundry and found a little cheat sheet of an IOU for like $300 and something.
Wow.
When you're 16, feels like $8 million.
Right.
Sure.
So all the kids, my parents, to back up a little bit, when I was 12, the first 12 years of my life, I had 3 brothers. We had kind of the Leave It to Beaver family. Everything looked perfect. And we grew up in Cyprus, which was middle class, but we're the kids that never struggled or suffered to get things, right? So I feel like we were kind of babied in a sense, just spoiled a little bit, to be honest. And then once my dad, who was a Vietnam vet, developed a really bad alcohol addiction, he started drinking 40 beers a day and 3 packs of cigarettes. After about 4 rehabs, my mom just had enough. So he left the house, and then I was 12, and that was the moment where reality came in. I started hustling. So from 12 years old, I didn't want to ask my mom for money. She's working 3 jobs, trying to keep us in the house.
Sure.
My 2 older brothers one was graduating high school. The other one was in high school. They were just kind of doing their own thing, chasing girls and, living their own life. So it was me and my little brother, and really didn't have much supervision. So, that's not really good for a young boy. So I started hustling. I started the Orange County Register, Paperboy, baseball card collection, poker ring. Then I started selling weed, little marijuana out of my house. Yep. So everything was like just trying to make money. And then I started making almost as much money as my mom at 16, because I started also taking sports bets, making bets, any form of gambling. That became my passion, because I knew how to hustle and kind of find an edge, if you will, which you're really good at. And that edge was imperative to me, because I didn't want to ask my mom for money. I saw her struggling so bad.
Sure.
So anyway, at 16 years old, I was running the poker ring that got shut down. And then when I was 18 years old, I finally got kicked out of my house for selling weed. And I went and got an apartment with my ex-wife, who we ended up having a baby. So fast forwarding, at 18 years old, I got an apartment. I was working 2 jobs. I worked at the Massimo Clothing Company and the John Wayne Airport. So, ends meet jobs, right? 6 to 2, 2:30 to 10. And then on the weekends, I'd go racetrack, bet sports, lose money to a bookmaker, anything to hustle and try to figure it out, which wasn't working because I was at DGen. Long story short, after about 8 months of that, I decided that's not working, and she got pregnant. So we had to move back to my mom's house. Well, my mom lost her house. So now she lived in a trailer park in Dana Point, which is really hard pill to swallow. So I was like, wow, I'm 18, about to have a baby, can't even figure out my own life, and I'm moving into a trailer park. Mind you, the trailer park was a double-wide mobile home with 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
My mom, my little brother, me and my ex-wife on a couch. So I was like, I better wake up and become a man. So I went and got a job as a busboy. I'm fast-forwarding all this. Basically figured out the reason I got a job as a busboy, they wouldn't hire me as a waiter because I had no experience. And I figured out if I started this brand new restaurant in a very nice area, Dana Point, California, I'll meet somebody, use my charisma, use my personality to get in a job that's a real job, right? And it worked. About 5 months later, got an opportunity, go down to this commodity brokerage house, all these young guys making tons of money, Ferraris parked out, it was basically Wall Street.
Boiler room.
Very much, but legal.
Yep.
And so I worked my way up, got my Series 3 license. When I was 21 years old, I was the top retail broker in the world. And then I purchased the house that my parents lost.
Wow.
The very same home went for sale for $550,000. I moved into my parents' house. Me and my ex-wife were sleeping in my parents' bedroom. It was eerie. It was crazy. My daughter was 2 years old. I was making $700,000 a year at 21. I had a Mercedes, and I was on top of the world. In that process, I've always been a gambling degenerate, so I was always gambling and always fucking off a lot of my money. And I decided at this point, instead of giving all my money to bookmakers, which I kept doing anyway, I'll just be one, because I was always taking bets, but it was never really a business. And I had this perfect opportunity because I have this brokerage firm with these young guys who are really just hookers, drugs, gambling, any vices you could put together, which is just like the movie.
Sure.
Wolf of Wall Street, really.
Yep.
Was my atmosphere. And I wasn't into hookers because I was married. I really don't drink too much, and I don't do drugs. Never done drugs in my life, but I love to gamble. So here it is. Let me just take advantage of this. So I started building a client base. And next thing you know, I had about maybe 50, 60 players, and I was making really good money because these guys are betting quite a bit. And I wasn't really afraid. As you guys know, you've heard the stories. I would pretty much take any bet, right? Now I had a bankroll behind me. So fast forward about maybe 2 years later, the internet comes around. And when the internet comes around, I said, this is a scalable business. So I was one of the first bookmakers to go to Costa Rica, use the per head shop, take advantage of that. And then I scaled my business to a dramatic fashion to where I had, eventually 1,200 clients when I got in trouble.
Wow.
But
That's like in the late 90s?
Yeah, no, it's
Early
later
2000s?
than that. Because in 93, I graduated high school. I was 18. So I would say right around the year 2000. I mean,
What kind of money were you doing at that point?
back then I would say probably the average bet was I would say 500 to 2,000.
Okay.
And then I had some guys betting up to 5 or 10,000, which, mind you, this is 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was a bigger number then.
Right.
And of course, it escalated dramatically when I was probably about 30 years old. That's when I really started bookmaking big. And then, of course, at the tail end of my career, $1 million bets. And
Now, did you have anyone backing
No, I never had any backers.
Really?
Never.
That had to be stressful.
It could be, yeah, especially when you have a gambling
one
problem.
client, if you have one, yeah.
Add a gambling
You're
problem.
like you were the equivalent of like a drug dealer. The rules
Getting
like
high
don't
on
get
their own
high off your own supply. That was you.
I actually got higher because I was gambling higher than I was taking, which is really a problem. You know, Bill knows this better than anyone. If you don't have the bankroll management, and then I would go to Vegas, I'd blow $2 million. I'd come home, I lost $1.5 million in my bookmaking operation. $3.5 million gone, and then maybe I went to Vegas with the 2. I blew that. Came home and only had, let's say, 800,000 here. Now I got to go borrow 700 grand. I've been there many times. I've
That's
been
unbelievable.
in many positions where
That's unbelievable. You
so
were
many
booking
times.
and you were borrowing.
100%. I've borrowed money so many times in my lifetime over the last 30 years. No one would ever know because, of
But
course,
everyone thinks bookmakers just win. You guys all win.
No, not
there's
even close.
losing weeks when you, especially if you have 1 or 2 clients that control your book that are
big
betting
time.
big.
Yes.
5,000 and 10,000 guys. If you have a guy betting 100,000, 200, they're the guys that are going to control your week.
they
win or
matter
lose.
more than all your players, right? At the end of the day, if you're a bookmaker that, like me, doesn't really care what the limits are,
Right.
and I'm willing to gamble. So
Right.
most bookmakers are smart enough to know, like, let's bankroll manage this thing. Let's not let 1 or 2 guys control your operation. That makes sense. But for me, I was a gambler. I was like, you know what? I'll beat this guy in the long run. I'll take it. As long as I know the money was good. I knew he wasn't sharp. I didn't want your action, Bill.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
No,
but at the end of the
It's
day,
funny you say that because I was down and I ran into you multiple times
Of course.
out of the country in Costa Rica. Not Costa Rica. We were in
Dominican
Republic. One of them. I mean, there's Bahamas.
Right.
But when I seen you in there, you were in the sportsbook betting, and I said, "Wow, this guy's sharp. You know what he's doing?" To myself, I got no one to talk to there. I said, "This guy's taking sharp bets and laying it off, making money." I didn't know your operator. I never asked you for an account.
I tried that too. That didn't really work.
Yeah, I never
you
asked
know
you for an
this.
account because I knew I wasn't going to get one.
Well-
I knew you knew who I was, so I never really was.
To be honest, I was fair warned that you're smarter than the average bear anyway.
Yeah.
So if I would have gave you an account, it would have been through somebody else.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I think we discussed it one time. We never ended up
We
doing
may
it.
have never did it.
Yeah. I was
but-
going to get you a couple accounts with a
Yeah.
couple guys I didn't really love in the
okay.
business.
Yep.
What was the most amount of money you ever had to borrow?
$2 million for sure. I definitely borrowed $2 million from a friend of mine.
You have a friend that'll give you $2 million cash?
I do. He would give me $2 million today.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need some.
Don't get me wrong. I compensated him drastically
Sure.
for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he
He
definitely
understands the whole business, though.
and not only that, he understands me.
Right.
At the end of the day, like, if I borrowed $2 million and I'm in the shoes I'm in today, he would still lend it to me because he knows I will get him the money eventually, even no matter what happens, unless I get hit by a bus.
Sure.
It's the only way he would not get paid.
Sure.
Because I'm not claiming I'm an angel. I'm not the most honorable person in the world. Like, I've definitely had my share of problems with people in the past, whatever. But I would never fuck over my friend, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, I would actually ruin my own life to
Sure.
get him back.
Sure.
Because he did me that solid of giving me $2 million, showing me that good fate, you know? And I had so many of those relationships, thank God, that I could come home and know that I had it covered. So it allowed me to, as you know, which is very important as a gambler, to walk into a casino, even if it was my, to be honest, last $2 million, I would gamble like I had $100 million at home. Because you can't go into a casino and be like scared or play
Yeah.
fearful. I mean, one thing about me, I have zero fear. To the
I
point
was
where
with
it's a
you.
problem.
I was with you one time, sitting down at the table just to watch you, and you guys were betting 200,000 a hand. This is
Yeah.
the kind of money they're betting. You're talking about $400,000 swings.
Blackjack?
No,
Baccarat,
Baccarat.
yeah.
And he's had swings. I didn't know this till yesterday. Tell John what you bet on the Super Bowl. How
Yeah,
did you
that-
get down that
that's-
kind of money?
I'll tell you, I have the tickets to prove it. I bet 1.25 million at the Atlantis Casino live in person.
Wow.
I have the tickets.
Wow.
I was in Atlantis, and then I bet all the rest of the bets through 40 bookmaking accounts.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to say their names
No, of
out of
course not.
respect, but
Yeah.
they're all well-known people.
Wow.
I had relationships with almost everybody
How
across
much
the
did you
country.
get down total?
4.6 on the game, but some of it they were a dog.
What game was it?
Chiefs against the Eagles.
Niners?
I hope you had
No,
the Chiefs.
Eagles. No, I had Chiefs against Eagles.
oh, yeah, Chiefs.
I got lucky and won, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
But at halftime, I bet 4.2 million. And then at halftime, I don't know if you guys remember the game, Mahomes was like hobbling into the
Yes,
thing.
he hobbled into the locker room.
Everyone thought he was done.
Everyone thought he was done.
And guess who I thought
Absolutely.
I was betting on? Chad Henne, right?
Yep.
And so I bet $400,000 more on the second
Wow.
half. And people ask me all the time, knowing that, why would you bet $400,000 more? And I said, because I'm a degenerate gambler. And I was just hoping that Chad Henne would have the game of his life, knowing that I'm probably going to lose the 4.2 and hoping to, make a comeback because they were already
Wow.
down by, I think, 7 or 10 at
Yep.
the time, whatever it was. And when Mahomes came back out, and obviously looked amazing the first drive,
So crazy.
I was like, oh, I got a shot at this.
Wow.
And,
What a
truth,
feeling.
It really was. But truth be told, I was already down $1.5 million at the Atlantis.
Oh, okay.
And then every bookmaking account I was betting on, I was already down for the week.
Oh.
So sadly, out of the
Got you back to
4.6, I made money, but it was minimal. Like I came home with $200,000 from Atlantis, which is nothing, consider all the risks and exposure I had. And then I came home to collect some packages around town for like little $800,000.
Wow.
So it was, I bet 4.6 million. Could have been now 9 million, and I came home and maybe had $1 million total collected out of that whole process of the trip.
Westgate Superbook Super Contest. This year we also have the Super Contest College, $500 an entry. I'm so pumped up for this. There's 568 people in this contest right now. I expect it to probably go up to about 800-900. You only have like a week though, so make sure you get in before August 29th. $500, like I said, 7 picks against the spread. This is something that's revolutionary. The town never had it before. Looking forward to this super contest. $1,500 an entry, up to $535,000 in the prize pool already. Super contest gold, super contest survivor. This is going to be really good over here at the Westgate.
How many times would you say you have risked pretty much your entire net worth?
Oh, God.
Many times.
It sounds like a ton.
Many times.
Many times.
Wow.
Truly. I've risked my net worth and money that I don't have many times. Like, I'm not even proud of it. I'm just being honest.
No, it's good you're being honest because that's something people can't do.
Well, they struggle with it. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm actually the opposite. I just tell the truth too much and say too much, which is very obvious based on my case. You know, my attorneys hate what I'm doing right now.
And I know there's clearly you said there's multiple people that you've been able to borrow from through your relationships and stuff, which speaks to the kind of person you are to be able to have access to money like that. But there's definitely been times where you even were like, "Oh shit, I'm in a jam now." Like,
listen, I'm not afraid to admit it. I owed the Wynn Las Vegas. I lost $3 million there. I couldn't pay when I got home. Went on a payments plan. They took me to the Clark County DA's office. I had to pay 10% juice on it. Paid that off. Paid the win. You know, I end up making it right always. But I've been multiple times where
you paid the juice on it. You said,
yeah.
I talk on my hands a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you paid the juice on it. Now, after you owed that money out, did you get credit again?
No, not at Wynn.
No, from casinos in general.
Of course I did.
Because it goes to Central Credit.
Of course I did. And even with the remarks.
Even with the remarks, they still put you in.
1,000,000%.
Casinos really, they love to bury people. No, they really do. I mean,
listen, they're not dumb. They have the best collection agency
you're writing
in the
a bad
world.
check. It's a felony.
You're going to jail if you don't pay.
Yep.
If a bookmaker had that.
Right.
I mean, other than back in the day when the mob would just do something drastic to you, there's no better collection agency than the jail.
You know, I want to go back to Punta Cana. I'll tell you why. Something you don't know. I've never really told the story to almost anyone except for my wife. So I'm in Punta Cana on that trip, and I win $150,000 in that tournament. That's what I won in that tournament. I had a double on a 17 versus I had,
insane.
I had a double on a 17. And I'm telling the story. I think you had a 19.
Yeah.
I had a 17.
oh, you guys were heads up?
Unbelievable.
Yeah. down to the last.
Down to the last
down, and he obviously won.
No, I had a double on a 17. I got a 3.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. Was really
Is
that.
this how you met, or you already knew each other?
No, we knew each other before that.
We saw each other a million times.
I actually felt it. And, usually I would say, let's split. Can we split the money?
Yeah.
This money was nothing to him. He's not going to split 100. He might have.
We actually talked about it. And I'm
Did
like,
we?
And I said, you were like, hey, and I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I'm betting this one.
Yeah, you're betting this on one hand.
And you're like, okay. And then it ended up working out for you.
And then I got lucky. But here, the point I want to tell you that you don't know. So they wouldn't give me a check. I wanted a check.
Okay.
They wouldn't give me a cashier check. They wouldn't give me a check. They said, no, you have to take the cash. We don't deal with cashier checks with the states. It was the weirdest thing ever.
Wow.
So and the director of marketing, the guy that was the head of
Miguel?
the place, did not like any. He didn't like any of us.
Yeah.
He just didn't like. Even though he was, and it might have been him. They made me take the cash.
Wow.
So now I have to
through.
I have to go and declare it through FinCEN.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the nastiest people that I've ever dealt with, probably at an airport or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I want to declare it. I say, Google my name. I declare tax win every year. I showed them the things, and they still put me in the back room and locked up the money. I thought I wasn't going to get the money. I thought they were going to steal the money from me. That's what I thought.
Okay.
I heard horror stories of people landing in the airport there in Dominican Republic and driving over to Punta Cana, the casino, which is probably 30 minutes away.
Right.
I heard horror stories about some things happening, but that's never happened to me. They pick you up in a limo, but I heard people got pulled over and robbed. That's what I heard.
Wow.
So, do you have any stories? Because I heard in the book I'm hearing that you have a story of something happened to you.
I think it's more than a horror story.
Yeah.
So, my wife and I got married in 2018. Pelican Hill, amazing wedding, best time of my life. 2016, at the end of 16, we were looking for places for a bachelorette party. So in 17, I went to Baja Mar, just opened.
Beautiful
place, right? Gorgeous. We go there. I went 165,000, sticking around, checking out a location, $1 million line. Strike that. I had $1 million line that time. I already told you a story off camera about Periente giving me, promised me $1 million, only give me 500,000. That was the next trip. Anyway, I had $1 million line. I won 165,000. It's like 5:30 in the morning. We go to the airport, and you fill out the customs forms. Well, I did not declare the money. And the reason I didn't declare the money is not because I was trying to hide it for tax purposes, because if you fast forward about 6 months earlier, I won about 300,000 in Las Vegas. I came through the airport. They put it through the scanner, got flagged. The TSA agent called the supervisor over. They came over. Okay, where'd you get this? Caesar's Palace. Here's the phone number of my host. Please call him, verify it. Okay, this is through, right? I land at John Wayne Airport. We're there, me and my wife. All of a sudden, we're waiting for my bags to come down. I see two guys with badges walk up to me. You could tell they're looking at me like they're looking at a picture. Hey, you're Matt Boyer, right? I said, yeah. Hi, Homeland Security, John, whatever his name is. I said, okay. We need you to grab your bags and come with us. I said, well, what did I do? I said, well, we'll discuss that. No problem. So I'm waiting with two agents. My wife is about, I would say seriously, like 5 or 6 feet away from me. The money's in her bag. Carry on. And she looks at me, and I give her the eye like, because the one agent had to go get another agent, a woman, because clearly they're about to strip search us or whatever. So I had this agent that I'm talking to literally kind of turned a little bit, and I give her she just grabbed the bag and went straight out the door. If you guys know where Orange County Airport, the luggage, the baggage carousel is very close to the front door. She went right out the door.
Wow.
Okay, so this is a true story, verifiable. And so I have my phone. They didn't take my phone. And I'm texting her, get the fuck out of here. Just go across the street. El Torito's across the street. So we didn't do anything wrong, but I know where this is going.
Yeah.
By the way, I've lost 6 packages through UPS, FedEx, mail.
Sure.
One for $250,000. Wow. It's all verifiable in the reports. A mafia guy sent me $250,000. I thought he lied. Later, I found out it was true. He did mail me the money. The government took it. Anyway, long story short, she leaves. Now, the other agent comes back, and he goes, where's your girlfriend? Because we weren't married then. I said, I don't know. Because you don't have to answer anything, right? And then there's another attractive woman, maybe another 10 feet over. They grab her, take us back, separate us. She's obviously,
what's going on?
You can hear her. I don't know this guy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, my God.
They went through all her luggage, okay, separate us. They won't let us talk because they think we're together, which we're not. And then I grab they let us grab our luggage. I have luggage. Now I have women's clothing. I have my wife's stuff. And they see she has her stuff. So they clearly have realized by now something's wrong, right? And they're asking me, where's the money? And I said, I don't know. I just got on the plane. I don't have to answer these questions, Basically, I'm being kind but a dick, And so they go through all the luggage, and they're like, well, why do you have women's clothing? I go, anything goes in Vegas. Like, oh, you're going to be a smart ass, huh?
Right.
I'm like, sir, am I being arrested? Like, what did I do? And they're like, you're not being arrested. So I get all my stuff, and they let me go. So, of course, I get my car out of valet. I go pick up my wife. I'm making sure I'm not being tailed because she has the money. I get home, and I get rid of it, okay? Now, the reason I tell you that story is 6 months later, the story you're asking about is occurring. I know that if I go through any TSA, they're grabbing the money. Because what they do is the government's smart. They take your money if you're doing anything in the gray area, and they make you claim it. And we all know that if you're doing anything gray, if you can't really claim anything or you don't even want to go there anyway, let's be real, you just let it go.
Yeah.
So if they take it, it's gone, right? So I don't declare it. So in the Bahamas, they have U.S. Customs, unlike most places you fly home first.
Right.
And I think that's because we own part of the Bahamas, whatever, a treaty or whatever it is. Anyway, I go through there. I get flagged. Surprise, surprise. Pulled aside. Do you have over 10,000 U.S. currency? I said, yes, sir, I do. Why did you answer no? I said, it's 5:30 in the morning. I'm tired. I'm hungover. I'm giving him some bullshit. He says, okay, well, that's failure to declare. I said, okay, no problem. I'm assuming they're just going to take the money, right? So we get back in the back room. Our flight's already gone. And my wife's like, hey, we're going to miss our flight. Can we book another one? He's like, oh, no, we're going to turn you over to the Bohemian government.
Oh my God.
And
Come on.
Yeah, and I said, well, I don't understand. You're taking the money. Like, what did we do wrong? It's a failure to declare, which is a felony. Didn't know that. I said, okay, honey, go ahead and book a flight. I'll deal with this. And she's like, no, I'm not leaving you here. And the guy says, well, no, you guys are both going to the station. And I said, well, what did she do? Well, she's with you. She's traveling with you. She's guilty of the same crime. I said, huh? I said, what are you talking about? So next you know, we're in a Bohemian station. They drive us to a station in a van. We get to the station, and they let me speak to the U.S. Embassy. U.S. Embassy did absolutely nothing. They asked what I did and what the crime was. They realized it was minor in their eyes, right? It wasn't like I was going to be held for whatever. So the guy says, stand up, please. And then the guard comes around, puts us in cuffs. My wife is hysterical. She's bawling. Never been handcuffed in her whole life. We're in a Bohemian jail. They take us back to holding cell. There's like 6 cells. She gets placed with a woman who's on crack, who's just literally shaking.
Oh God.
I go in a cell with a guy who just, he's Canadian, who just grabbed a waitress's ass. So in Baja Mar, so they threw him in jail. And then aside from us is 3 Bohemians who did, I don't know what they did. Anyway, so they're heckling my wife because they could see her from this cell and they're just being fucking punks.
Sure.
And I'm like, okay, so here we are. And about 3 hours go by. Now they transport us to the prison. So we get there and my wife starts hyperventilating. And I feel the most helpless I've ever felt in my life.
Oh my God.
And I'm trying to beg. I'm begging them, just please, just let her go. Like she did nothing. I don't even know what they're doing with me, but I mean, you know, come on, really? You're gonna put her in prison? So we get there, and they take 3 guys out of a cell who are shackled, and she sees that, and then she literally goes into, I would call it almost convulsions. And then the warden says, "Are you a threat to harm yourself?" And she's like, "No." And I said, "Yeah." I mean, clearly that's a positive, whatever.
Sure.
He's trying to offer some help here.
Right.
So she says, "Oh, okay." So he allows her to go back to the other jail cell because she's claustrophobic, and now we're in a prison, right? So they drive her back and they put me in a prison cell. It's 2 blocks, a toilet that doesn't work, 3 guys in there. It's a 2-man cell. 2 guys are laying down. So I sit in a corner, and there's feces everywhere. There's about 7 water bottles full of piss.
Oh God.
And that's what you go to the bathroom in. And they say, "What's up, Cracker?" And so here we go, you know. And luckily they didn't want any problems. But I stood in a little corner and just waited. No water, no food, no explanation. No, I don't know where my wife is, and I have no idea how long I'm sitting there. So this was Sunday at like maybe, I would say about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Finally, we ended up in the prison because we went to the airport at like 6 in the morning. Long story short, Monday, a whole day goes by. Monday, they pull me out, drive me to the courthouse because it was Sunday. That's why I couldn't see a judge. So I go in front of a judge. And this is the crazy part of the story. They said, "Mr. Boyer, you owe a $5,000 fine for each of you. And you have to pay an attorney if you'd like to hire an attorney." I said, "Yes, I'd like an attorney." "Okay, well, we happen to have 2 in the back of the courtroom." So she allows us to go speak to these 2 attorneys, choose one. So we need $12,000 to pay all the fines and get this over with. Go back in front of the judge. "Okay, here's my American Express." We don't take American Express. "Okay, well, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I cannot get you $1. You've taken all $165,000. What can you do?" I said, "The only thing I can do is go back to the casino." And she says, "Well, then you're going to have to go back to jail until someone wires you the money." And I said, "Ma'am, I have the money. You're not taking the credit card. You took all my money." "Sorry." So the lawyer says, "Your Honor, would you allow the guest to go back to Baja Mar and pull from his credit line?" She says, "Yes."
Oh wow.
I get in a police car. My wife is in a holding cell.
Unbelievable.
They put the siren on the car because they know I have limited time. It's now 2:30.
Right.
I have to be back by 4
Right.
to pay the fines before the court closes.
Okay.
We drive probably like a race car. Truly, the police guy was
Sure.
really understanding my situation. I walk in the Baja Mar Casino. I'm dirty because even though it was only a day and a half, you're sweaty. It's gross. It's hot. There's no AC in there. And it's feces. I'm literally dirty. I look like a castaway. I walk up to the cage. I walk right up. I say, "Hi, ma'am. I'd like to extract Matt Boyer. I'm having some serious trauma right now." I'm like telling her what's going on. "I'd like $12,000, please."
Right.
"Bill, you know this."
Yeah.
"Sorry, Mr. Boyer, you just won $165,000, and we can't give you $12,000.
In other words, he won money.
No, I get it.
So he has to use that money first before you go back to your credit line.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she says, I said, well, I understand that, but this is a little different situation. It's 12 grand. I'm good for it. I have $1 million credit line. She says, well, unfortunately, we can't do that. I said, well, please get me the manager. I think Periente wasn't there. Ben Slepian was my host.
Okay.
Ben tried, there's to no avail. So I said to her, so you're telling me the only way that I can get out of this country and get home is to go gamble? She says, I can't tell you what to do.
Right.
So I turn around, there's an officer standing 10 feet behind me. I'm not exaggerating. I walk over to the table.
Blackjack table or
Baccarat
table.
And I tell the officer, I'm sorry, sir, I have to go here, because he doesn't even understand what's going on.
No, they don't know what's going on.
I said, I need to go over here to get the money.
Right.
I walk over, 12,000, first hand.
Oh, you took a marker for 12.
12,000.
Okay.
What do you think happened? Loser. 24,000, second hand. What do you think happened?
Oh my God.
Lose. 48,000.
Oh my
Lose.
God, this is the
Lost all three hands.
martingale.
Player or banker? What are you on?
I don't
Doesn't
recall.
matter.
Okay.
But I'll be honest with you. Those are the three worst hands that I've been more nervous in my entire life.
Right.
Any gamble I've ever had in my whole life.
You're finally sweating at a
$4.6
table.
million. Didn't even touch that.
Wow.
Swear on my kids.
Wow.
That's how nervous I was. I'm shaking now because every loss means I got to win the next hand. And now I'm at a point where I can't bet enough to win it back.
That's right. There's limits.
Here comes the manager running up to the table. Mr. Boyer, it's okay. You don't have to play. It's okay. Let me walk you to the cage. So we walks me to the cage. And now he gives me the 12,000.
Oh, wow.
The two, I got 12 because I wanted 2 of pocket change. It was 10 grand.
Right.
Drives me back to the courthouse. I make it by 4:10. We pay. They release us. We had to have a flight confirmation to leave the country because we're being deported. And I get home and I had to wire them the money I lost and the marker I took out. So not only lose the 165, I had to pay. It was like just under 100 grand.
What a harsh.
Yeah. And that was my story of going through
That's in the book.
100%, the whole story.
Incredible.
And
Wow.
What made him change it? Like, why did he?
because he had the authority to make that decision.
Someone came with
someone with
sensibility.
serious
Yeah.
authority. Yeah, like everyone else couldn't approve that,
Right.
and clearly, and it wasn't Alex Periente. Actually, it was like someone just below him.
Right.
I think I actually put in the book it was Alex Periente because I couldn't think of the guy's name, but it really wasn't because Periente was not there.
So did you know you all right, you made a mistake. You didn't declare the money.
Correct.
Did they get to keep the money? You still didn't get it back?
Oh no, the money was long gone.
So you don't get, even though you made a mistake, who keeps the money? The country?
Bohemian government kept it.
Wow. And that
I
was
thought-
my big fear in Dominican Republic because they said
Yeah.
$5,000 to get out of the country.
Right.
You have to give $5,000 of the money up.
I actually
fought-
believe because we both have been to both locations.
Yeah.
I believe Dominican is much more gray area than even the Bahamas.
Yes.
Like as far as
Yes.
paying people off.
Yep.
The Bahamas, I believe, they kept the money clearly,
Yeah.
but I was told that the Bohemian government, or I should say the customs agents, are told when customers win a lot of money
Yes.
to see if they declare it
Wow.
because it happens all the time. But they usually just take the money.
Wow.
So I wasn't even worried. I was
Sure.
thinking, okay, I just got fucked for 165K. That sucks. I won the money. I had a great time. Whatever. My fault. I should have wired it.
Wow. And the most thing you feel bad about is your wife or your girlfriend.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Jail.
Dragging him
Yeah.
down and
What was the movie with the Turkish jail? The guy went to jail for a little bit of pot. I mean, it was just that thinking of those kind of scenes. You say to yourself, "Oh my God,
Right.
I'm gonna ruin." I bet you she's never went back again.
Ironically, we went back for our bachelorette party.
love it.
45 days later, but she did not want to. And I said, babe, let's not let
good.
this, it's kind of the point of my book. Like, you can't let something in your life, derail you and change who you are. Like, of course, I understand why she didn't want to go back, but it was more like why we should go back. We'll do it right. I will never, promise her I will never go through an airport with over $10,000.
Right.
And I won't.
Right.
As I've learned my lesson. Just like, unfortunately, I'll never be taking a sports bet the rest of my life. I won't take one. I might make one day.
Sure.
But I will not. And it's not because I'm just not going to put myself in that position. The risk, reward,
Yeah.
all the negatives I'm dealing with. It's just, I'll never do it again.
And what did you? Now let's go back. Let's go fast forward a little bit. So you had these big customers, and you had little customers. You had agents all over the place, which I never ever knew. I thought it was you. I didn't know you had agents.
Yeah, no, I
didn't know you
had
had
48 agents across the
48
country.
agents.
I did.
Wow.
Some of them only had 8 players.
Doesn't matter.
Some had 50.
You had a big operation.
Yeah.
Let's talk about WagerWire, and this is their segment here. This parlay, boy, I'm tough on parlays. This particular one, so it's a 4-teamer. Inter Miami, which they already won, that's plus 195. Mexico Gold Cup winner plus 185. The Lynx, WNBA, they're currently the favorite. They're plus 140 on this, and Buffalo won the Super Bowl plus 7-1. So the current bet offer, I was thinking to myself, wow, it seems like it's pretty low considering the first 2 legs in, and it's $50 to win 11,570 is a true number. So the current bet offer is $613 at WagerWire. The cash out offer is $422. So it's a 50% boost from the offer that the sportsbook wants to give you, of course, through the WagerWire app, and WagerWire, they give you more. But I look at this bet, I'm not cashing this out. The Lynx are currently the favorite to win the WNBA winner title. And the Bills, a lot of the wise guys like the Bills this year. So I think closer towards the Super Bowl, if you get the Lynx in there, you're going to get a good buyout offer from WagerWire. So I'm going to say don't take the money right now and that $563 profit. Do not take it. Let's continue this parlay, you guys, and hopefully the Lynx get there and you can make a lot more money with the Buffalo Bills for the Super Bowl, or you can actually sell it right before the Super Bowl. So what did you do? Like, how did this come about where you had these big players and you had actually now what everyone wants to know, Ohtani's his assistant, is that correct?
Yeah.
How did you get him? What's his story?
So my good friend, in fact, he called just a minute ago.
Okay.
He has a really good relationship with David Fletcher,
Okay.
you know, who obviously played for the Angels. And we were all buddies, and we go golfing and gamble on the golf course and hang out. And in that relationship, he developed, you know, more ball player relationships. So anyway, we went to a Padres-Angels game back in 2021, and we would go to spring training with these guys. I'd go to the Arizona casinos with them, hang out, play blackjack, whatever. And then we'd play golf, of course. That day, we went to the game. And then that night after the game, we went to their private, I'm going to call it private poker game, but it really is just the players come back to the hotel and they just won, lost, whatever. They go, you know, eat some pizza and play cards. It's something I think all NBA, I mean, they play on the planes. It's just, let's be honest, they all gamble.
Sure.
You know, so I shouldn't say they all, most.
Yeah.
Long story short, Ipe was there, the interpreter, and he was on his phone putting in bets, you know, literally on soccer games.
Sure.
So my buddy's like, hey, you know, Matt can help you with that. You know,
Right.
you know, that introduction led to, of course, him starting with a small account, $1,000, $8,000 credit line, which turned into $300,000, which turned into $500,000, and then ended up being $40 million.
So he had a $300,000 credit line, or?
Initially $8,000.
Okay.
He was betting $1,000 a game.
Sure.
His first bet, which it's all public, they put out every text message, everything. $1,000 on a Turkish soccer game.
Right.
And literally. And then it turned into, he blew the $8,000, asked for more credit. I gave it to him.
Sure.
Let's be honest. I didn't think the interpreter for Shohei Ohtani was going to stiff me.
Sure.
And I extended his credit line and got to 300. Then he paid it.
He paid the $300,000.
Wired me $300K.
Yeah.
Then he asked for 500. Well, shit, he just paid me 300.
Sure.
And he's clearly a bad gambler. So greedy wise, I was like, yeah, I'll give him 500. So I give him 500. He blows that. He pays. Then he asks for another 500, another 500. And as he's losing, he's like, look, I'm going to always pay you. Just give me more credit because I can't get access to the money instantly all the time to send $1 million wires.
Right.
I didn't care. You know, I didn't ask who it was from. To be honest, I didn't even know it was Shohei Ohtani until like the third wire.
Right.
But once I saw that name, I was like, holy shit.
The wire came from Ohtani?
Yes.
You seen a wire from
Shohei Ohtani.
And you must have been like, oh my God, this is one of the biggest players ever in the history of baseball.
Well,
really.
to me, it's like I had two feelings, right? The first feeling is the greed side of me is like, wow, I'm never going to have to worry about getting paid. I have the best customer on the planet.
Yeah.
Because he clearly wasn't good at gambling. And then the second part of me is like, this is going to put eyes on me. And this could be bad. And then I was like, I better make sure he's not betting baseball. So I went and checked, and there's no baseball bets, thank God. So I was like, all right, you know, I mean, this is really
He's betting soccer, which is the biggest bet sport in the world. People don't realize that.
by far.
Yeah.
Was it actually Ohtani making the bets, though?
No.
It was always the interpreter.
It definitely was the interpreter. As far as this is the part that's still, in my opinion, in question.
Right.
Did Ohtani know that the interpreter was gambling and to the level he was, and did he steal his money or borrow it, or that part to me is still in question, but clearly it's known that he stole the money, and that's why he's in prison, which I feel terrible for, to be honest, because I'm a greedy guy. I love money. I'm not going to act like I don't, but I definitely don't want to be part of a fraud scheme, or I didn't want to affect baseball or Shohei Ohtani's, tarnished name. I mean, that I hate to say it, but I have some play in that, not on purpose.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that bothers me.
And he went to jail right now. And did he get like 5 years?
Yeah, he's in prison 57 months in Pennsylvania.
You must feel terrible. The guy you were dealing with all the time. He was a nice guy.
I really
paid
do.
You, yeah.
Very honorable guy. I think he would have paid every dollar. I didn't know he was stealing the money.
Sure.
People ask me, well, how'd you give an interpreter who makes $200 grand a year, $40 million in credit? I'm like, well, I didn't ask who it was. One thing about being a bookmaker, at least for me, was
You don't get personal.
yeah, I mean, I have a relationship, but it's very business savvy, and my job is to give them a service, and their job is to use the service, right? Of course, I don't want people to blow their brains out and lose more money than they can afford, but I can't control what they're telling me. I can't control where they're getting their money, and to be honest, it's not my business.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it is, but it's not.
And in the book, it actually says that I believe Ohtani was on the mound pitching.
He was. I went to a game. That's correct.
And there's bets coming in as he's pitching.
Yeah.
And you really, if
That's
you
when
had,
I realized.
if you had any little inkling that might be him, you knew it was the.
That's exactly the moment I really, to be honest, he was pitching that night. There's Angel game here, and I was like, I need to find out. Excuse me. I need to make sure that Shohei Ohtani is not putting these bets in without asking, because I really didn't want to know. So I went to the game, and I was watching him pitch, and I'm on my website, and Turkish soccer games, and all this bets are firing, and I'm like, that guy is very talented, but I promise you, he can't be on a cell phone and pitch at the same time. So I knew, and then I was like, okay, what Crack, this? Maybe they're partners on the account, but let's be honest, either you gamble or you don't.
Right.
And he's known to be a guy who's never gambled, and you've been known, as I have, as a guy who always gambles.
Right.
So if John doesn't gamble and he never has,
Right.
he's not going to all of a sudden start betting $40 million on sports.
Yeah.
This is not going to happen.
Yeah. And Ohtani easily could not have known. I'm going to use this example, and you can cut it if you want. John's dad, Tony Orlando.
Yeah.
He had how much stolen from him? 10 million?
Yeah. Over a 14-year
He had
span.
14-year span. His assistant, his right-hand man, his accountant, stole 14 million of his money.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize.
Yeah, that's something I was going to bring up is, I used to own a PR firm, and I represented, I won't say names, but I represented a lot of NFL Hall of Famers, a lot of Olympic gold medalists, world record holders, and I had a lot of clients for many, many years and became very good friends with them, as you probably became good friends with your clients.
Of course.
You become good friends. It's just what happens.
Yeah, relationship.
And when you have the trust of someone that is high profile, I absolutely had access to. I had American Express cards. I had credit card numbers.
Right.
Because sometimes you're booking. You're the publicist, but you're also the personal assistant in many cases, and you're booking rent a car and rooms and flights and stuff and dinner reservations, and it's a big party, so you have to give someone a credit card number to hold the table and all that stuff. And I could have done the same type of thing on a much smaller scale, but still, we're talking about millions of dollars.
Of course.
It's so easy to do. The people that, because I read when the story first broke, people commenting, how could he not see 14 million missing or whatever the number?
Right.
It's so easy. They're busy, man. They're
not only that, John, to take it another step, this is my assumption, but what I've figured out is, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
The wires, when I would ask to be paid, of course. He owed me $24 million to this day.
Holy God.
That's what I'm still owed.
I didn't know that.
No, I never got paid, $24 million. So he was sending like $500K at a time, a couple times $1 million, but mostly $500K. And he'd always say, Ipe, hey man, I should be able to get that wire to you next week. And I realize now, because I didn't know this till later, he was waiting on the Angels to pay. That's what it was. Because that account I'm put it all together, was his Angels money. Of course, he had a separate account, endorsement money, which is way bigger than maybe the Angels.
Oh, yeah.
So, people were like, how does he not notice? I get what you're saying, because if you have, let's call it, 16, 17 million in this account, but you have 150 million in this one, this is the one Shohei's probably paying his bills or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
This one's just like, it's your Angels paycheck.
Right.
I mean, when you're that wealthy,
and there's probably so much activity either way. Of course. People moving money, whatever.
I imagine.
No one catches it, and he's the interpreter. At the end of the day, he's the go-between, right?
Right.
So he can even. I don't know if this happened in this case, but like if there are business managers are involved or other people looking at Shohei's money, you're still dealing with the interpreter.
Correct.
He's busy playing baseball, so he very easily can fire off a text and say, "Hey, Shohei said this," and you're not going to question it.
Of course, it's the interpreter, and he was even. I don't know if you guys know this, but he got caught calling the bank, acting as Shohei and doing things, initiating wires and et cetera. So clearly,
How much did he pay you? How much?
$16.2 million.
So he paid you $16 million.
Biggest client ever?
Oh, by far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
$16 million. And
Yeah.
let's face it, in the end, the casinos got the money.
They did. I lost it all to Resorts
Isn't that
World.
amazing?
Yeah.
The
I lost
in the
13
end, the
and
casinos
change.
get to keep the money.
Yeah.
All of these things you see, American Greed, these different shows, a lot of them are on gambling. And in the end, the casinos get all the money. How nice.
Yeah, I
And they
gave
get to keep the
13
money.
and change to them.
Wow.
Over a 2-year period, of maybe a year and a half. And of course, you know this. I mean, the casinos are the ones that are still fighting with the government right now in this current case that I have. But I'm the one going to prison, and I take I really do take accountability for my own actions. But it's kind of sad that the casino got away with all the money, and then they have yet to even, have any accountability.
And I'm sure the government came to you with a deal and saying you can rat out your agents, rat out your customers even. They want to get other cases and other monies involved.
Of course.
And we'll give you no time. And we'll
I
speak
definitely
under the
could have.
rug.
I could have stepped on a lot of people's throats for sure. I know 40 bookmakers across the country that
course.
are very big and have
Yeah.
a lot of money and
Yeah.
can be exposed. And I would not talk about any of them.
Right.
And there's some articles that we were talking about earlier that just came out.
Yeah.
Damian LaForbes, who also is in this case, is a great friend of mine.
Okay.
I was gambling with him. It's a very known fact that he was a bookmaker. It's very obvious. So I could say that now. But when the government comes in and seizes your electronic devices, that's evidence.
Right.
You can say that you don't want to give that up, but they have it.
Right.
So they're going to use that evidence. And if that evidence leads them to other cases, if that makes me a rat, then I'm a rat. But in reality, I would not give
You
up
didn't rat no
anybody.
one out.
Now, did I cooperate with the United States government in regards to Resorts World and the casino?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep,
I
I get
did.
it.
And I'm guilty of that. And that definitely helped save me from 4 or 5 year prison
Right.
sentence. I'm looking at 15 months as of now. It could be less, could be more, who knows?
Right.
But at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, the casinos they were involved. They understood I was a bookmaker. You know this. You've been going, all these casinos knew I was a bookmaker. But I'm okay with dealing with what I did wrong
Yes.
because I did do something in the gray area.
Yes.
Even if I don't agree with the laws, I knew the law. I knew I was breaking it.
My first credit line around 1999. I'm at a casino downtown Las Vegas, and my buddy said, "Oh, if you need some money, I'll get you a credit line." He's just a player, a big player, and I'm like, "How do you get a credit line? How do you do that?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh no, I want to get you. Well, trust me, the host will get you a credit line." To this day, I still can't believe what happened. I had about $4,000 in the bank, and I had a $50,000 line in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. I really didn't have a job.
Can that still happen today, though?
Now I think, believe it or not, and he probably doesn't realize this, I think his case is instrumental why it can't happen today.
Why it can't?
Why it cannot happen today. But
There's no question of that.
that $50,000 line, I went to other casinos and opened up lines of credit based on me borrowing and paying back. Oh, this guy's good. Central Credit hit it. They never checked to see if I had a job, money in the bank. And now it happened after they checked a little bit.
Of course.
And said, "Hey, Bill, you have to get the $50,000 in an account to cover your line here."
Right.
Wynn was real strict with that. But I cannot believe what happened back then. That's how I got casino credit everywhere, was because one host put it in for me and got it pushed through credit.
Right.
I'm telling you, no one checked anything. I had it the same day. Now the KYC laws, which is know your customer laws.
Correct.
Casinos are really enforcing that. And I have to tell you, I think your case is instrumental in them forcing that now.
There's no question.
Casino host doesn't want to go to a player and say, "Hey, that $25,000 you got." They want to know where you got it from, And that just happened in Atlantic City at the Hard Rock to a friend of mine. He literally went in and with $50,000 cash, and they wouldn't let him go over 10 unless he had.
You had to prove everything.
Yeah, they had his ID, they had his stuff on file. Now they're pushing this KYC law. They don't want to do it.
No, but they have to.
I think your case is instrumental. The resorts world, the whole thing.
No doubt. In fact, I'll even go as far to say there was a point where I had probably $400,000 in my bank account, and I had $8 million in credit lines throughout the country.
There you go.
Wow.
I had $2 million at Dominican, $2 million at Bahamas, $2 million here. I mean, you know this.
Did you have to float markers to pay other ones?
Oh, for sure.
So you have to juggle markers. You have to take money, and now you have to hope to cash them out to pay the other casino.
Let me tell you a
giant
real quick
juggle.
story. I took my children to Panama, Dominican Republic, Bahamas, and Foxwoods, all on private jets in about a 3-week period. I owed money at the first casino, $2 million. So I took a marker from here, paid this one, went to this one, paid this one, lost here, just shuffled the whole markers and all 4 trips. And I walked out of there with a free trip to all 4 spots, I have pictures of it. My kids went to Panama. You remember Panama?
Yeah.
Did you ever go to there?
Trump Casino there?
Yeah, it's closed now.
It's closed.
I
now.
beat them for 4.4 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Baccarat?
one.
Wow.
Yeah, baccarat, all baccarat.
Always baccarat.
Well, I played blackjack there, but I got counting, so they shut me off.
Right.
But then I beat Cosmo. Bill Macbeth shut me off, 5 point something million.
Wow.
But then don't get me wrong, I've lost it. Many other ones like Palazzo, I lost over 3 million. Resorts were 13. But my point is, I was juggling all of that, and you know this. If you work a good deal, which is why I was the only one, I think only one to get my wife as a licensed casino host. I pulled that off. That was a smart move.
So
a little late in the
wound up
game.
being the rep instead of a casino host. His wife wound up being the rep because they get a percentage of the Theo of the customer. Or
Became like an independent host.
Yes, an independent host.
She got licensed as an independent rep, and when we would bring my entourage, let's call it, to Vegas, she would make a commission of $30,000 to $50,000.
Yeah,
whether I won or lost.
On top of you're getting a rebate.
That's correct.
Right.
So I'm getting a 20% discount.
Yep.
She's getting her commission. And then, of course, I'm negotiating just like you did, Bill.
Sure.
I want gift cards. I want Louis. You see some of the liquor here in my house. Or, I want this Chanel purse for my wife or this watch. You negotiate everything. I mean, I was king of that because I knew that they wanted the high-end business. And let's be honest, over time, I'm going to lose anyway. So why not negotiate the best deal?
Sure.
As a degenerate,
Sure.
I'm going to put in the Theo. I'm going to put in the time. So that's the only way I could even out the odds as best I could. Because, as you know, you're going to get cut off playing, sharp stuff or counting cards and blackjack.
Sure.
Too.
So let's go to that date. I think it was October 5th, 2023.
Yeah, correct.
So let's go to that date now. I seen on your Instagram, we got 10 million hits.
Yeah.
On the Instagram saying that you guys were somewhere smiling.
Right.
And then when you got home, everything changed for you.
Yeah. That particular weekend, if you go back and look, I think it was October 3rd. I was in Dallas Cowboys game. Stadium.
Okay.
We took 2 jets from Resorts World. There was 16 of us. We flew to the stadium. They bought a suite. I bet $800,000 on the game. I won. The Cowboys beat the shit out of the Raiders. And I was down $1.5 million at Resorts World. We came back that night. I took the $800,000 I won. I won it all back. So I ended up winning that trip, which I never beat that place, by the way, ever.
Wow.
And we flew home on Monday. And then 2 days later, the FBI came and raided my home, 29 agents and a dog.
6 in the morning. And
it was 9:33 a.m. I'll never forget.
Wow.
I was putting my son in the G-Wagon, and I heard FBI freeze. And I look over and 8 red dots on my chest.
8 red dots.
Yeah. AR rifles full.
They're going to
right
shoot
here,
a bookmaker?
Right here, right in my driveway.
They're going to shoot a bookmaker? I mean,
They definitely came prepared.
Wow.
I mean.
And you're in complete
He's got his little kid there.
No, I had my son. He's 2 years old. And, of course, they didn't cuff me because I was holding my son. And then they put me on the other side of the driveway. And then they barged in through here.
29
and got my wife, cuffed her. She was laying on the floor crying. And then I had a handyman painting, and they cuffed him and brought him out.
They cuffed the handyman.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did they? What did they take in here? Did they get money? Did they get cash?
Yeah, about $270 in cash,
Okay.
Gold coins, casino chips, jewelry, about 30 handbags.
Is it like the movies where they just turn the house upside down?
Yeah.
Type of thing? It really is.
It really is.
Did they know where to go? Did you have like secret money stashed?
I
walls
opened every
or
safe for them.
or-
I did not. I opened everything. I cooperated
Oh,
completely.
you cooperated. Just show them, hey,
Yeah.
here's where.
I said I knew they were going to find it, so
Yeah.
why make it hard? They just rip open your stuff more.
Right.
And they're just doing their job. At the end of the day, I didn't sign up to be an FBI agent, so I can't be mad at
Right.
them for that's their job. And I understand, so I try to be kind to them because they're going to do their job. You might as well make it easier on them.
Right.
They're going to find everything in your house.
What's going through your mind at that point? Are you sitting there going, "Oh my God, like my life is just completely over"?
Well, I was raided in 2014 by the feds.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that was a little different experience. There's like 14 of them, and they took the money. I signed over an abandonment form, which states that I committed a crime. I'm admitting I committed the crime, but I won't be charged for it as long as they release the money and I don't hire an attorney. So, to be honest, my mistake at that point, I was 39 years old, father of 4, greedy, love gambling, love sports. I'll just build a bigger business. It's kind of like, you don't learn a lesson from that, I guess. I mean, that's the message here. I should have walked away. I had an opportunity to do something else.
Yeah.
But I just built a bigger business.
Sure.
And when they came back this time, it was much harsher.
And in the end, I've been on those private jets. I've been on maybe 10 in my life, going down with a bunch of big gamblers and stuff. In the end, that's the stuff you miss. You miss the
Lifestyle.
The lifestyle. It's so cool having great dinners and great. It's something that you've probably been on hundreds of these jets and big parties and maybe even $5,000-$10,000 dinners and stuff. Being part of them.
Worse, Bill. So my son, you guys saw my son. He's 4 now.
Yep.
He was 2 when I got rated, and he's been on 44 private jet flights in 2 years. 44.
Wow.
times. So we were going every 2 weeks, right?
Right.
And then, I'd bring my nanny, I'd bring everybody. I'd bring my whole entourage because I'm a family guy at the end of the day. I love my kids.
Of course.
So instead of me going out there and leaving my family at home, I said, I'll bring them to my office, right? So that being said, we've probably been on, 500 jets.
Wow.
We had in Dominican, I don't know if you were there for this trip, we had a private concert with Andrea Bocelli.
Wow.
Meet and greet with my wife and I, literally front row, 17 of us. We've been to Blake Shelton backstage. I mean,
Sure.
I played golf with Charles Barkley, Travis Kelce, and the American Century Championship.
Sure.
I put a picture in my book. It's a receipt to talk about dinners. Guy Sauvage, a $15,000 dinner.
Wow.
It's
Was that at
just a
Caesars?
dinner. Yeah, at Caesars.
Yeah.
And I put that in there as a point because you're right. Like, people are going to watch this and they're going to judge me for, living the lifestyle, being greedy and all that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
But when you taste it, as you said, it's really hard to walk away from. Because I did have 39 years old, I had an opportunity to walk away, and I chose to continue, that chase the dragon and feed the dopamine rush. And you're right, caviar. Like, I'll be sitting here, literally, just to give you an example, before 2 years ago, and I'm like, I'm kind of bored. Text my wife, hey, let's go to Vegas. We'll talk about it when we get home, right? Yeah, she knows, right? So I get home, I'm like, let's just go. So I would get online and send an email to Resorts World, negotiate the trip. They'd have a plane here in 4 hours. We would just get in our car and drive to the private jet and jump on it, and I'd be in Las Vegas fucking 3 hours later gambling my balls off, and there would be caviar on the plane, and obviously we get there, that you've been to those villas, or 12,000 square feet with a pool and a butler.
Yeah.
The butlers knew us. They'd have my crib waiting for my son, all his formula. I mean, the service is impeccable, and those things are hard to get away from. It's like a drug,
Yeah.
And one thing I know about you that you don't know, I know you were triple George to everybody. So what that means is he's taking care of everybody.
I definitely tipped very high.
Overtaking care from some of the butlers and stuff, and some of the people just in general.
Thank you.
They were really nice.
And dealers too.
Good tippers is the fastest way to Krackomberger.
No, because you know what it is. I know a lot of
them.
I know a lot of people that are really wealthy.
Cheap. Yeah.
And if someone's around, they're gonna tip.
Right. But when
like,
they're not,
if they're leaving their room when they're not giving $5 to the maid.
Yeah.
But they're gambling, $20,000, $30,000 a hand.
Sure.
So I heard that. I'm not, just I heard that, and that's.
No, I appreciate
that.
it.
Makes us sad though that what's happening.
I
to you.
definitely tipped very well.
And no matter what, people watching this, there's going to be haters.
Oh, for sure.
I have haters.
Yeah.
There's going to be haters. And they're going to say, he knew. It was Ohtani's. That's what they want to believe.
Of course.
But I like that you were very open about everything, and you are an open book. Speaking of which, now where can people find your book, which John and I are going to be getting right now?
Yeah, please.
Where can we find your book?
It's on my website, MatthewBoyer.com.
Okay.
And it's easiest way is Amazon, because
Right.
you'll have it in 2 days or whatever.
I wanted to. We were trying to order it once we booked this with
We
you
did,
on
huh?
Monday, but it wasn't gonna arrive to the house till today. So I was
why.
like, damn.
Yeah.
And I've made fun of.
There's like 10 reviews already. They're great reviews.
I've made fun of Barnes and Noble for years because
Yeah.
I'm like, how is there still a Barnes and Noble? And there's one on Charleston down the street from Red Rock
Okay.
Casino.
Yeah.
So I told my girlfriend, I'm like, I'm gonna run down to that bookstore, and I'm like, how funny is this? I've been shitting on Barnes and Noble
And
now
now
for
you're
5
here.
years, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't wait to go, but they didn't have it yet. They
Well,
didn't
because
have it.
that's different. You need I self-published my book.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot about this. I've never done this before. But you need like a Schulster and Smith or whatever they're called, like a
Got
big
it.
publishing agency. But that'll probably be my next move. My goal now is get my book out myself, get my story out, at least give a narrative of who I am as a person, because I'm being judged as a predator for being a bookmaker.
Yeah.
The evil side, all the sensationalized news makes me look bad, frankly, but I am who I am, man. Like,
Yeah.
you judge me, hate me. Like you said, you're always gonna have haters. At the end of the day, I know who I am, and I'm a good father. I'm a good person. I made some errors, and as far
How
as
did you get I can't believe you have a book out. And I didn't know it was a couple days ago. Your book is out. You didn't even go to jail yet.
Yeah.
The book is out.
Yeah.
What is the book about your life story? About is the Ohtani situation in the book?
there. Everything.
Everything is in the book.
Literally. I
And
mean,
there's definitely book 2 coming.
yeah, there is. There is book 2, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
because that'll
How
be
about
the
like
next
a
chapter.
movie? I mean, a movie. You know,
Yeah.
you have some things set up. Can you tell the audience what you
Yeah,
have?
of course.
What you have
So
planning
I
on
have
CNN?
a
and-
sizzle going with Netflix right now.
Okay.
I'm hoping they pick it up. If they do,
They will.
The doc will be very good.
Sure.
I think that doc will be because I'm honest, man. So
Sure.
I'll just tell the truth. The bad parts too. Like one thing I do in my book is I don't sugarcoat anything. It's really easy to tell everybody that your body fat's 4% and this and that, or your cock is a lot bigger than it is. But at the end of the day, you just tell the truth. Haters, lovers, whatever, they're going to appreciate the truth. So my book tells the truth that when I was broke and borrowing money and putting myself in bad predicaments and owing bookmakers. I've owed bookmakers my whole life too. I was one,
I'll interrupt you. It's the shocking most thing about this whole interview to me. I didn't know that he came home and lost more money than he had to pay the markers. I never, and multiple times. So
many times.
You were really.
I'm a degen.
You were a degenerate.
Oh,
gambler.
there's no doubt about it.
Wow. I see that. I come here and we pull up to this beautiful house and private drive and cascading waterfalls, unbelievable property, and you didn't matter because you were still gambling to a level above your head.
Oh, for sure.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no question. If you're going every 2 or 3 weeks and you don't have an edge,
Right.
because I really don't.
Sure.
I mean, I negotiated good deals,
Yeah,
but I had no
rebates.
edge.
Yep.
You gamble that high, that often. How could you even survive?
Yeah.
Like obviously had a great business to back it up, right? But the reality is to gamble like no guy in the country, unless you're a celebrity or filthy rich, can do that. You can't afford
Right.
it. But I did it for 20 years.
Wow.
At your peak, how much were you making a month?
$1.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, mostly due to Ohtani money, of
Sure.
course. But even without that, I was doing very well because I had, 1,200 clients, and believe me, I had guys that were betting 100,000 a game. It wasn't, but the Ohtani situation was 100,000 a game, and he was betting 35, 40 bets a day,
Right.
if not more.
That was something I was going to ask you. Was the 16 million you said you made somewhere
16.2,
around there?
Yeah.
Who's this next closest guy? Just to put it in perspective.
I had a guy lose 9.
9 million?
Yeah.
In what
Hey?
kind of
Yeah.
time span?
A year.
A year.
Yeah. Obviously, I gave him a huge discount, and
I represented and I was friends with a lot of pro athletes. And
Sure.
when they retire, all of them have the same story, which is the phone doesn't ring as much and
Right.
people don't take your calls as much when
Sure.
you retire. Because when you're not supplying tickets to them anymore, or
Right.
you don't have the money's not flowing like it used to, so you're not the source of bail you out loans
Mm-hmm.
anymore. They don't call as much. Is it similar for you, like
Oh, yeah.
with what you've gone through now?
sure, I've lost
You
some
had an
friends.
entourage with you, and
Yeah, I've had some stage 5 clingers that are no longer clinging, no question. But I love that. I've learned.
Right.
I misread this guy. He's not quite the loyal friend I thought he was. So it's all good. Like when you learn from these moments, you actually learn more about yourself. And I've learned to look in the mirror and say, okay, it's on me. Like if I can't read who I'm dealing with as who's truly my friend
Yeah.
better, then I blame myself.
Have you had the reverse though, like triple down
Oh, yeah.
on
Big time.
support?
Big
Yeah.
time. More of that, actually.
That's
Really?
great.
more of that.
Good for you.
Good.
Truly. And it's funny.
Which is not surprising, just from I've known you now an hour or
Yeah.
whatever it is, and
I
I
appreciate
could
it.
tell from his Instagram,
sure.
the kind of person you are.
Well, thank you. I actually want that because we all know that social media is mostly fake.
Yeah.
It's people, fluffing their life and
Yep.
their marriage, and they're out cheating or whatever. Mine is not. I don't cheat on my wife, and more importantly, I tell the truth. I mean, if you look at my social media, it's not all positive. It's me going through hell. I could fluff everything. I just put a private jet and I'm flying and
Sure.
money and all that. I don't do that. I just talk about the hell I'm going through, and I will do that the rest of my life, good,
Yeah.
bad, and indifferent, because I do believe if you're going to, in my case, I'm not selling anything, at least not yet. Well, I'm selling a book, but I prefer just to be honest and tell the truth because it sets you free, man. I'm okay with whoever accepts me for who I am now. I know they accept me for
Right.
truly who I am, whether I have money or not. And I will make more money in the next 10 years than I've made in my whole life.
Wow.
I have no
That's
doubt
good.
of that.
That's great.
Let's talk about the family stuff a little bit. Like, so this is like you said, there's going to be haters, right?
Of course.
And when you're throwing around, you're talking about fancy cars and these trips to Vegas and private jets.
Sure.
People forget you are human. It's a weird thing. It's like they some love it, like we love it. We all love, it's like there's obviously a huge audience that like, wow,
Sure,
right? And then there's the haters that forget you're going to be away from your wife,
for sure,
your son,
right,
for 15 months. That may not sound like, listen, I got arrested for a failure to appear on a tinted windows ticket 10 years ago or so, maybe more. And I was in jail for 4 hours.
Yeah. It
It felt like eternity.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how far. I'm not trying to rain on your parade
you're correct.
right now.
Hey, I like owning it.
15 months, man.
That's a long time.
This
to
is
lose
a
your
long
liberty.
time.
And listen, here's the other problem. Never mind the fact that I lose my liberty. That sucks, right? Being stuck somewhere where you can't go anywhere is bad enough. But just being not a father, missing moments with my kids.
Right.
My son came to me 2 days ago. He put on his T-Rex costume. And we just got it in the mail or what, Amazon. And he put it on. Daddy, yeah, look at this. I said, oh, that's awesome. He's like, are you going to be a T-Rex for Halloween? And then my wife looked at me and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be here for Halloween. That was rough. That was like a moment of like, wow. Yeah, that was hard.
Hits.
So like she started to cry and I was like, fuck, Yeah.
And
that's on me. My job as a father is provide and protect. And I'm failing to do that. So if I've failed in anything in my life, this is the first moment of failure, a true failure.
She seems like she's dealing with it.
She is
really
she's strong.
good. I mean, three of us just showed up with cameras and equipment and lights,
she's great.
I can feel you're both the rock.
Yeah, she's amazing. She's not a fan of this.
Yeah,
she's more private than I ever am. I'm an open book, like to the point where she hates that. But I've gotten her to lean into the fire.
Yeah,
and I'm talking about being open.
Yeah,
she's always been strong, but now I'm like, she doesn't like having our life out there for the whole world.
Yeah.
But I told her, I said, we really have no choice.
Yeah. And this is making lemonade out of lemons.
That's correct. Yeah.
Long term. You're playing the long game right now.
I am, man. And honestly, it's actually feels good.
Yeah.
Because I could at least say somewhat of a narrative of the truth of what's really going on. And they can judge me for whatever it is, but at least I know this is the real me. And again, I own it. Like I fucked up, right?
Yeah.
I could have been a doctor. I could have been so many other things. I'm a very talented guy. So I tell my kids, I chose something in the gray area. Whether I agree with the laws or not, different conversation. But I chose something in the gray area. You got a 16-year-old kid who loves sports and loves gambling. So that was my passion. So if I can make money in my passion, then it's really hard to walk away from that.
Yeah.
So I want my children to do something that they're passionate about because we spend so much time working, right?
Sure.
The problem is I could have chose something else I was passionate about that was legal and never put them through this and myself through this. And that's a mistake I made. And that's what I got to live with. And that's what I got to rebound from,
I have a health-related question.
Sure.
I look at you and I'm jealous.
You look great.
Before we started rolling, I was telling you how I was working with Gary Brecka on my health and 10X, and now I'm working with Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center and Dr. Arvind, and I'm really into peptides and stuff. Can I ask, what are you running? What are you on?
I take everything: BP 157, human growth hormones, testosterone. I take what's the other? There's another like
Tesamorelin. Are you on?
No,
you're on actual HGH.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I take almost I switch to peptides.
Yeah.
I obviously do my blood work, make sure it's healthy.
Yeah.
I have a doctor that runs everything. I'm 50.
Okay.
Yeah, I just turned 50, and the stress I've been under my whole life.
Yeah.
is crazy.
Killer.
I was a commodity trader for 11 years, and that was bananas. I mean, I was gambling legally. And the exposure I was doing there was almost as bad as the bookmaking, So I try to stay healthy. My wife is really healthy. We very clean.
Yeah.
We work out.
And even through all this, so in my last 18 months, as you know, have been kind of stressful. I've gone through a lot of stuff business-wise. I told you a little bit before. And I fell off a little bit, and I gained like 20 pounds back of the 35 that I lost. And pizza, and it's just you're stressed.
I was going to say that to you. You look a little chunky now. It is what it is.
It doesn't look, I don't know what you looked like before, but it looks like you've stayed on the course. How have you been able to do that?
I mean, luckily, I own a jiu-jitsu studio, which I've been really pretty bad about going. I've been going like once a week, and you should be going at least 3-4 times. But I do other stuff. I'm always active, and in truth, I cold plunge every day, and then I use my infrared sauna, which I have here in my house, which helps. But those are like my moments to like kind of live in my moment and realize the shit I'm under and kind of have like a moment of like, wow. And those things really help me, along with eating clean and then just trying to obviously work out, because my body fat, I just did it the other day, is 9.6%. And I'm 50, but about 8 years ago, I was down to 4.4 when I was like extreme crazy about it.
That sounds like too lean, though. That's hard to keep.
I was like, it was all I cared about, just getting, where you eat portions.
Quick shout out to heritagesports.eu, our sponsor. Been around 30 years, 100% kickoff bonus, plus they have a money-back guarantee on your first deposit. Some real good specials over at Heritage. heritagesports.eu. Been around a long time. Check them out. Now, you're going away in a couple weeks?
I go probably, I'd say October 1st, yeah.
So you're going to go in October. Okay, you're going to go in October. Like, what kind of food you going to get in there? I mean,
shit. I've heard it's
but you still have to work out and stuff. And,
yeah, I mean,
you're going to be
I'm going to lose weight.
You're going to be real popular in there. We decided that.
I'm sure.
That you're going to be real popular.
Sure.
People, they love to gamble. They're going to ask you
Just
about
the
everything.
Stories,
your
right?
stories. You're going to be, you're going to be real popular wherever you go.
I think, honestly, I'm not worried about prison.
No.
At all. I'm more worried about just, again, being away from my family.
Yeah.
Going to prison is whatever. I mean, truly, I don't think it's really rehabilitating for me as a human being, but I will use the opportunity to strengthen my mind. Clearly, I'll work out a ton. There's nothing else to do, right? And then if I can improve my mind in any way, educational-wise, I will. I've grown so much in the last 2 years. I'll be honest with you. Before this happened, I was getting kind of stagnant because I had this amazing business, and it was so easy, and I ran it so efficiently that all I did was like gamble and screw around. I wasn't really challenging my brain. And now I've never done social media or any of this stuff. So I had to go learn what a Google Drive was and things that I don't even use. And I'm like, wow, I kind of, went backwards.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, it's simple stuff. But the point is, I'm actually getting more savvy and things I would never even used, Well,
we're going to get your book. Last to close with, what the name of your book and where we can get it again? Amazon?
Yeah, Amazon, Recalibrate.
Recalibrate.
By Matthew Boyer with 1 T.
Yep.
Then go to my, obviously, Instagram, Matthew Boyer 5. All my
you have great
channels.
socials.
Yeah,
Great
thank
socials.
you. Well, you guys do too, and I'm happy to collaborate.
This was a fantastic interview. We came out here for John. Was like, we got to get out there, so we came out here, and it's really nice for you to open your house and yourself. Tell us everything you told us, and we wish you well.
No,
Yeah, man.
When you're out, we're going to do another interview with you.
I would love that.
When you're out.
Is crazy to me to think. I mean, I get it. You broke the law. Like, I get it. But
Well,
it's
when John's
just
saying, like,
to lock
now,
this man up.
What's
nuts.
happening now? We have conditioned society of all the big sports books now, how fun it is, and the people are getting. Every college in America has a gambling problem.
Actually, to touch on that's the biggest new, I would call it, epidemic that's coming.
It is
totally.
It's the new opioid epidemic.
It really is.
Gambling, but however, it's done privately. It's done on your phone.
Correct.
It's closet gambling.
Yes. Yeah.
No one knows that. Alcohol, drugs.
You see it.
You see it.
I spoke about that on a what do you call it, addiction podcast. I mean, if you or I had $1 million on a soccer game and it's going on right now or whatever, we wouldn't know it. No one would know it but us.
Yes.
And then we could be sitting here, even though we're sweating the game, we're not really watching it. And then if I'm wasted or if I'm high, I mean, I'd be slurring my words. I'd be acting, a little indifferent.
Right.
So you're right. You could closet hide everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. There's casinos in how many states now? I mean,
within
I
a
don't know
3-hour drive of like anybody.
Almost anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and sports books now.
Yes.
Everywhere. And
listen, even in this state, you said about how, like, these players that used to play with Matt, they're playing with other bookmakers. Kalshi is a big app now where you're buying. It's a stock market. You're buying contracts. It's sports betting.
Right.
Kalshi now is taking over a lot of places in California. I hear.
For sure.
So Kalshi's everywhere now.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they were on the Las Vegas Strip during the election. Big ad, taking out the biggest billboards on the famous Four Corners, the Flamingo and the Strip, Tropicana and the Strip, all over the Strip, Kalshi ads for the presidential election.
I think they had a problem because they had the Super Bowl up too.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have a spread, and that's their rule or whatever.
Yeah.
But they put who would win or lose, which in this case, the Super Bowl spread was really nothing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they got in trouble with the Vegas.
They did get in a little bit of trouble, but they're growing at an all-time rate.
Yeah.
So like that's sports betting.
Of course it is.
I forgot one thing I wanted to bring up. The prop betting has gotten so big.
Sure.
What do you think is going to happen? Like, I don't remember the pitcher, but I'm sure you saw it a
Guardians
couple of weeks
pitcher,
ago.
of course.
The bounce,
Two of them.
the bounce ball.
Yeah.
The first pitch.
What's going to happen? Do you think
It's only going to get worse.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're smart. I mean, you have to give them credit. To throw something, that's the best way to do it because you're not really affecting the outcome of a game. You're just
one pitch,
and
you're going to throw several balls throughout your your appearance.
So that was brilliant. But the problem is the brilliancy is never going to work anyway because in a prop bet, Bill knows this better than anyone. Yeah. When there's a large bet on a prop bet, that's an investigation.
You can't even get down that much.
Yeah,
a dime, $1,000.
So the reality is to throw a game and actually get away with it, it's going to have to be a real game.
Yeah,
and that's going to be very difficult. And then people talk. There's too many cameras everywhere and too many people with big mouths. They're going to get caught.
How about all these leagues though? Now that the commissioners were against gambling,
right?
And NFL, NBA, and hockey. Hockey was the first one to take it in. They were against gambling, and only 20% of people bet sports. Now they welcome it. Every stadium, you go to Yankee Stadium, left field, center field, right field, 3 different ads for sports books. 7-year-old Johnny boy says, "Daddy, what's that at?" Yeah, it's a gambling app, and oh, that's nice. They're literally teaching them at a young age. It's everywhere now. The sports books are in bed with the leagues. The leagues are making money.
Of course they are.
Giant money.
Yeah.
You see, the retired athletes are now the advertisers.
Kevin Hart,
Gronk
LeBron
and stuff.
James.
You see all these guys. They're actually advertising for the sport. It's now listen. A lot of things try to get swept under the rug. I'm a gambler. I make money from gambling. I'm an advantage gambler. I do advantage gambling things, but I still talk about the responsible gambling aspect.
Sure.
I try to teach people that parlays are bad. This is 60% of the profits are parlays.
Right.
Kids want to make $1 into 100,000 because that is the ad they see on Twitter and Instagram. Hey, look what you can do for $1. They put that out there. These kids are dreaming, star-yard dreamers. It's only going to get worse, and I try to help put that in.
They are sucking them, and I want to say this: I got a ton of hate on my Instagram, especially on that one video that went viral of 10 million views. You're this predator. You prey on people's gambling addictions and all these things. But and part of that's true. Sadly, I did have some people that bet with me that got out of control or whatever, just like I did. But most of my customers, most of them, truly wanted to write a letter to my judge and say, "This guy, I've dealt with him for 20 years. He's a personal friend now. I bet with him, yes." But it was entertainment. It was something I really wanted. Doesn't make it right, but I just want you to know, I said, don't bother. It's not going to help me. Right. But my point is, I had relationships with most of my customers, or my agents did with the customers. It wasn't like we were going around with advertising signs. They came to us to bet.
And they're going to make the bets regardless. It's like
with me
being
or
mad at someone
else.
for having a shop that sells cigarettes and saying you're giving them cancer. They're going to go buy the cigarettes regardless.
Yeah. Well, do you blame Budweiser because someone's an alcoholic? I mean, they gave them the beer, but did they walk into their house and hand it to them?
Right.
They would have bought a Corona instead. It doesn't matter. It's the person that has to be accountable for their actions, including me, which is why I'm going to prison. Yeah. I'm not happy about it. I'm not, thrilled, but I did the crime. I'm doing the time, and that's it.
Let's end on this one,
sure.
Okay? Bill loves his restaurants. He's making a name for himself online with top 5 pools in Vegas, top 5 restaurants.
Okay.
Let's fast forward 15 months.
Sure.
You're coming to Vegas for a weekend, a long weekend. 5 restaurants you are going to be thinking about that you can't wait to get back into.
In Vegas or here?
Either or.
Yeah, where's your top 5 restaurants?
Give us top 5.
Do you guys like sushi?
Man. Yeah.
I have a sushi place in Tustin, California. That's a hole in the wall. That's the best in the world that I've ever been.
Wow, the best.
Truly, it's called Sushi Wasabi. I eat there. I don't eat there every day anymore because it's expensive and I'm watching my money. But wow, it's fantastic.
Wow.
Japanese owners, they're sweethearts. The husband's the cook, and obviously his wife is the waitress. And you walk in there, it's a hole in the wall.
I mean, to say that, he's been to like Nobu in the top.
Oh, Nobu doesn't even.
Nobu doesn't even compare.
Not even touch it.
That's sick.
It's amazing, and it's all omakase. You can't order a roll. They don't even make rolls. It's real sushi.
Wow.
That's my favorite. If I were to die, that's my last meal.
Wow.
Okay.
Truly. But in Vegas, man.
What do you like in Vegas?
You guys will laugh. I like Guy Sauva, and not because I usually don't like French restaurants because it's like portions are a joke, right?
I need big portions.
But I just order 8 million things.
Sure.
And because I didn't care about the price. But I like that restaurant. It's really a cool experience,
nice.
right? But as far as real food, I mean, obviously, I've been everywhere in Las Vegas. There's no,
Nothing stands out.
honestly,
No steakhouses
maybe
or
I'm a pig, so I like everything, man.
Right.
A steakhouse. I'm trying
No.
to. It's sad because I haven't been to Vegas in over 2 years. It's been
Right.
2 years.
Longest
And-
stretch ever,
Oh,
probably.
by far. I mean, not even close.
Sure.
And I miss it. I miss the dopamine rush of walking in
Right.
that town as kind of like a celebrity. I mean,
Sure.
I have an ego, like
Sure.
I like to walk in a place and feel like I'm somebody,
Oh, yeah.
I do, thank God.
Yeah,
with my
Mr.
family,
B, Mr.
but,
B.
They treat you like gold, whether
Yep.
it's fake or not, doesn't matter.
Yes, it's fake.
Of course. Good point. But I'll be honest, Resorts World's restaurants are not my favorite, so definitely wouldn't be there. Palazzo has some amazing restaurants. What's
Really?
that? Mott 32?
Yeah.
32, is that good?
Chinese
That's
place.
that's fantastic.
Wow.
That is really good.
Unbelievable.
I
I've
would
seen the
put
ad
that.
for it. Didn't ever went.
So good. And what's funny is I love what's the Greek place? Milos.
I love Milos.
I love Milos.
Milos.
Or no.
It's in
now
Palazzo.
Oh,
it's
right.
not.
It used to be
Now it's not.
Cosmo,
Correct.
right?
Be Cosmo.
And that's a chain.
Yeah.
So usually a chain is not the best
Yes.
restaurant.
Yes.
But
One in
those
New
are
York.
the ones I would go to all the time. So
Really?
Milos is
sadly,
great.
I can't give you
Yeah.
this is the one.
No, that's okay.
Other than Sushi Wasabi.
Sushi wasabi.
And while you guys are here, you should go there. It's in
Wow.
Tustin.
Well, that's this has been great.
Yeah,
And
man.
we wish
Thank
the
you so
best.
much.
We really are touched by this too.
Yeah.
John and I really on the way here we're saying how bad this is because we know what it is to gamble. We
Sure.
bet sports, even though we don't bet with illegal bookmakers, but still we know what it is to bet. People just bet in sports. By the way, let's close with this. This man paid his restitution.
Every
you
dollar.
paid. Most people have to get billed. Would you pay him 1.6?
1.6 and change.
They have that already.
It's done.
They
Yeah.
took that.
Yeah.
So
Take a man away
they
from
took
his
money.
wife
They
and
took
kid
his money and
for 15 months for doing something that happens
and we're gonna get hate for saying that now. but
every
it's fine.
single day
Well, yeah.
in the city we live in.
Yeah.
All day. South Point, you can do it 24 hours a day. You can make bets on sports. And we're going to put this guy away, and then somehow
Yeah.
the world is a better place,
Yeah.
a safer place. Is
Yeah.
nuts.
I agree, sadly.
Yeah.
But I will tell you guys, there's a part of me that is like, it's just part of the story that's just going to make me that much stronger.
Yeah.
So when I come out of this thing and I'm on stages doing, public speaking, and
Yeah.
it adds more grit to my story.
Right.
Of course, that's the worst thing I want to do is go away from my family.
Sure.
But it does allow me to sit on a stage and look at someone and say, look, I've been through hell.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I faced, and this is where I'm at now. And I promise you, I'll make more money than I ever have.
That's what
And never mind the money.
Yeah.
I will actually do something where two people win. Every business I've been in, commodities, win, they have to lose. Bookmaking, I have to win for them to lose. Now it's win, win. And
Wow.
first time in my life, and I give to somebody and I get paid for it, how good is that feeling?
That's great.
Where
You're a
everybody
good
wins.
man, Matt.
Yeah.
Matt, thank you very
Really,
much.
you're a good man.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Great interview.
Yeah.
Guys, we'll see you next week on WiseKracks.
Welcome into True Silly Diamonds for Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I am Drew Martin breaking down the MLB slate of games. 3 Major League Baseball bets coming your way. Let me know in the comments below where you agree, where you disagree. All is welcome. Your picks for today in any sport. I'll be in there chiming in as well. It helps the algorithm on YouTube. Smash that like button if you're liking the content. As we got first game up, early first pitch, 1:05 Eastern time in our nation's capital. It is the Miami Marlins and the Washington Nationals. Mitch Parker on the hill for the Nats. Yuri Perez going for the Fish. -135, that is the Marlins as the road favorite, 8.5 being the total. Now, if you're watching the video, you probably already know where I'm going with this. Jumping on the Miami Marlins, wearing the hat and everything. We got Perez on the hill. He got roughed up last time out against the Mets. I feel like that was kind of a tough matchup for him. He actually has good numbers against the Nationals. And we got to keep in mind, this Washington Nationals team, yeah, they did win on Monday, but they're 1-8 their last 9 games. They've lost 8 straight to end the month of August. They're minus nearly 180 in terms of their run differential. And now they got Mitch Parker on the hill. He's just 7-15, near a 6 ERA. He only lasted 3 innings facing the Marlins earlier this season and gave up 6 earned runs. So past performance not there for the lefty National starter. All of this, guys, pointing towards the Fish, -135. I think it's short. We're starting off the hump day. Miami Marlins over the Washington Nationals. Next one up, 7:40 Eastern. Great series here. Battle of first place teams. Philadelphia Phillies, Milwaukee Brewers. Aaron Nola on the hill for the Phils. Jose Quintana, the lefty, going for the Brewers. -115. That's the Brewers as the short favorite. Total of 9. Interesting scheduling note here. This is a Monday, Wednesday, Thursday series. You normally don't see that. The teams, according to the Milwaukee Journal, decided to play on Labor Day and then take a day off on Tuesday. So that's why we're getting a game number 2 on Wednesday, even though they played on Monday. So an off day yesterday. It is Bark at the Park in Milwaukee. If you're heading to the game, bring your your barking friend there if you want to. But either way, guys, talking about this from a betting perspective, the Brewers' best record in baseball by more than 5 games, the second best team. They've been a huge moneymaker. If you've watched the show, they've kind of been our golden goose. I mean, they're 45-25 at home. They're up over 160 in terms of their run differential. That's by far the best run differential. They're actually likely to clinch a playoff spot in about a week or so. I mean, it all depends on wins and losses, but keep that in mind when you're betting, late summer here, heading into the playoffs, as we're getting to the near 140 game mark of the season. When these teams start clinching, it can, change the handicap in itself. Now, until that point, I think Milwaukee's, a look to bet on team for me anyway. I don't love going up against the Phillies. I mean, they're first place themselves. I could see this team, winning the World Series if the ball bounces their way. They are 6 games up on the Mets, but in their road games, they've kind of struggled a bit. They're 1-4. They're 2-8 their last 10 on the road. And they got Aaron Nola on the hill. The 32-year-old out of LSU has not been that great this season. And actually, his last 2 starts have been horrific. He's given up 13 runs his last 14 innings. And since coming off of the IL, he's made 5 starts, and he's got a 10 ERA. So, I mean, going up against this Brewers lineup, I think this is going to be a rough outing for Aaron Nola. I mean, in Milwaukee, we brought up a lot of the stats. One that I think is great is Milwaukee has a winning record against every first place team that they've played this year. This team beats good teams. Look, guys, I mean, at -115, I think it's short. I give the slight bullpen edge to the Brewers as well. We're going Brewers over Phillies, second game up on Wednesday. Got 1 game left. Will be the nightcap for the show. Also want to give out the record. We talked some college football over the weekend. Appreciate everybody chiming in. Some of you guys saying I should talk more baseball, which I love to see. I didn't realize that. Usually in years past, people like to see, college football, the NFL. But if you guys want me to keep doing baseball, that's more than fine. I'll definitely keep doing baseball during the week with football going, but trying to decide, planning out the show. College football, it was a rough start. Pretty rough start for opening weekend. We did just go 4-7. picking, the major games and also the Saturday slate and Friday night slate. We did 3 games apiece. So 4 and 7, minus 3.7 units. Down week, hopefully bounce back for week 2. We got NFL week 1 coming up as well. But it does bring the overall record to 209 and 164. That's 55% plus 39.5 units of profit. So, hey, 55% winners over the long term. That's not too shabby, but even though a down week for college football. All right, back to actually got a couple questions here. David Montgomery in the chat yesterday saying, for college football, he brought up a theory, fade the high tempo teams at the end of the season because the defense is on the field longer. David, always appreciate your comments below. And I know you give out some picks and some winners as well, which some of the other commenters have been liking. But David, I like where your head's at. Yeah, I've thought about that the last couple years. I guess the only problem with now, it's only week 2, so I wouldn't bring that into my handicap, but for sure. I mean, these teams that run, a bunch of plays a game, their defense is on the field more. So I like where your head's at there. And also a thing to notice with college football that I wanted to throw out is seemed to be like the unders were hitting at, some games were higher scoring, but I would pump the brakes if you're just looking to kind of pepper the board on some overs because, with the clock changes, things of that nature, and just really defense being ahead of offense early in the season, unders were cashing. All right, guys, we got the nightcap for the show, 7:35 Eastern time. We're heading to the Sunshine State, not far from where I'm talking right now. Do excuse the background. I just moved into the new office here, so I haven't got the background ready, but either way, Tampa Bay Rays and Seattle Mariners, 7:35 Eastern start here. It's George Kirby on the hill for the M's, Adrian Hauser on the hill for the Rays. 8.5 being the total, minus 135. That is the Mariners as the road favorite. They got Kirby on the hill. The 27-year-old out of Elon is 7-2. His last 9 decisions, 103-26 strikeout to walk rate. And the Mariners' bats have been solid, really, for the whole course of the year. A top 10 lineup in MLB. Tampa Bay fallen off a little bit. Bottom 5 in Major League Baseball over the last week. This lineup's been cold. Adrian Hauser on the bump. He's been up and down. He did give up 5 earned runs in 5 innings this year against the Mariners. So kind of got roughed up there. Could see him getting roughed up again, guys. For the nightcap, we're going to be on the Mariners, minus 135 as the road favorite. In recap, we got the Brewers, minus 115. That's best bet for the show. Brewers over Phillies. And we're starting it off, day action. We're on the Fish over the Nationals early start. That does it for Wednesday's show. We'll be back tomorrow. Come back and join us. Until then, smash that like button, comment below, cash those tickets. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in.
are live, my friend.
Sports betting show on the planet. This is WagerTalk today. I am your host, Andy Lang. It is Wednesday. We got a lot to talk about. We're going heavy on college football. We've got some MLB to go over. And then we're adding a new segment. Ross Benjamin is going to say, this line makes no sense. And then we'll talk it out. So it's going to be a busy day. Jesse's going to join us. We're going to talk about this Northern Illinois-Maryland game. He had the option to pick two teams to fade or two teams to bet on this week in college football. Excited for that. Ross Benjamin is going to do This Line Makes No Sense. He's also going to break down Yankees-Astros, Iowa, and Iowa State. And we've got your free plays here and all around the world. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Let's do the Steam report. If we want to start with baseball, because I know you baseball guys love hearing this, we do not have any massive line moves as of yet. I see Miami is taking some money, only a 10-15 cent line move. Our good friends, the Colorado Rockies, believe it or not, are taking a little bit of money. San Fran opened at minus 225. That's down to minus 200 in some places. And it looks like Boston may have changed their, we got a change in starting pitching in Boston. So keep your eye on that. Looks like Seattle has taken a lot of money against Tampa Bay this morning. And Minnesota, only other one that I see, that was minus 170. I'm seeing minus 190s pop up. As far as college football this week, we can go over and look at it. Not a whole lot of line moves here. James Madison has taken a little bit of money. That did move through the key number of 14. So James Madison has been taking enough to move it from 15 down to 13.5. And we'll talk about Northern Illinois and Maryland. We'll go over Saturday games tomorrow and Thursday when we have a few more bets. So, all right, let's get started with Jesse. Jesse, we're going to talk a lot of college football, sir. Happy Wednesday. How are you?
Not bad. We got the first week of college football in the books. A lot of surprises, but I covered every game, as you know, and I was pretty happy with my analysis for the most part.
Well, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about Northern Illinois and Maryland. I believe this is a Friday game. What do you make of these two teams?
Northern Illinois, of course, the Giant Slayers last year. They had that big upset win over Notre Dame in week 2. They were 8-5 overall, 4-4 in the MAC, 5-6-2 against the spread. They played a lot of close games. In addition to the win over Notre Dame, they had a close loss, 24-17 against NC State. This is a team that wasn't losing any games by 17 points last year. Last year's team, though, unfortunately, is gone, which is why head coach Thomas Hammock went viral with a bit of a rant online over the summer, talking about getting your degree, and your degree is going to be worth more than any NIL that anybody can pay you, and referring to his players that left, because Northern Illinois ranks 136th. That's dead last in FBS in returning production. Everybody left. He mentioned that a lot of those guys might not even play for the teams they left for, but it leaves them in a tough spot, let's put it that way. And that was quite evident when they just barely hung on to beat Holy Cross 19-7 in week 1. They're up against a Maryland team that is the redheaded stepchild of the Big Ten, 1-8 in the Big Ten last year, 3-1 in non-conference play, though, and that included a 29-28 home win over USC. Maryland usually does take care of business in non-conference home games. It's got to be Maryland or pass at the line of 17.5 for me.
The redheaded stepchild of the Big Ten, huh? You say we didn't. We're not very welcoming to the Terps here, Jesse.
Well,
Shots
that's not
fired.
in my notes. That just kind of rolled off the tongue, you know.
I was a senior at Indiana University when the Terps beat us in the national championship game for basketball. It was one of the best days. Even though we lost, it was one of the best, the most fun days I've ever had. So, yeah, I got a big spread there, and I would have to tend to agree with you. I believe some money has come in on that on your side as well. So, all right, last time you were on here, a few times ago, you said, I'm going to give you some teams to fade. And you were right. You did very well predicting the teams to fade. So tell us about those teams. And then we gave you the option. You want to fade more teams? You want to give us some teams to bet on? The choice is yours.
Yeah, so I think it was 2 weeks ago now, Andy, and I gave you Penn State, Baylor, and Southern Miss to fade. and those teams went 0-3 against the spread in week 1, and 2 of them lost outright. Baylor was expected by many to beat Auburn. A lot of people were really high on Baylor. They got absolutely crushed. And Southern Miss, a team that was loaded with transfers and a new coach that brought half his team over from Marshall, they did not look good against Mississippi State. We're going to fade Mississippi State this week, though. Mississippi State, as mentioned, they had little trouble running over Southern Miss team on the road. Now they return home to face a playoff team from last year, Arizona State. Arizona State, the favorite to win the Big 12, or one of the favorites to win the Big 12. Number 12 ranked Arizona State, I believe. This Arizona State team brought everybody back except for Cam Scadaboo. And last year they were whooping Mississippi State at home by a score of 27-3 in the first half. They ended up hanging on to win by a score of 30-23, I believe it was. They won by 7 points as a 6.5-point favorite, and they will be a 6.5-point favorite here on the road this time around. I think that game last year, the final score doesn't do it much justice. Arizona State was driving in the red zone, going to score another touchdown to win that game by double digits, but they ended up running out the clock and kneeling, doing the victory formation. We're not reading much into Mississippi State's win over a Sun Belt team in week 1. As I said, we were fade. That was a fade of Southern Miss, not a bet on Mississippi State. I still don't think Mississippi State has the weapons to compete with a legit playoff contender in Arizona State. And the line of 6.5 is on the wrong side of the key number of 7, in my opinion.
All right. I like it. And we're going to keep fading away. We're going to keep telling you which teams you don't believe in. I think we're going down to Florida, aren't we?
Well, we talked about what I got right in week 1, Andy. Now we got to talk about what I got wrong. I had a big bet on Boise State against South Florida. The whole world was on South Florida in week 1, and they absolutely crushed Boise State 34-7. Tough loss for myself. But you know what? It was statistically the most fraudulent win in week 1. The South Florida Bulls had the lowest success rate of any team that won in week 1. You break down the numbers. Boise State had an edge in total yards, 378-372. First downs, 25-15. Time of possession, 36-21 to 23-39. South Florida had a fake punt converted into a touchdown. Backup quarterback comes in, pretends to be the punter, and throws for a touchdown pass. Boise State had 3 fumbles. So I watched that game. South Florida came out just absolutely hyped up. All the credit to them. They played well. They're probably going to be a threat in the American, but they're on the road at Florida this week, and the Gators are a legit playoff caliber team, an SEC team. And this line opened at 18.5. It's down now. You can get 17.5. I think Florida is going to absolutely crush the South Florida Bulls.
I didn't know anything about Boise or South Florida. Probably a lot of people didn't. And I was watching. I was like, who is this quarterback for South Florida? He's running absolutely wild. You don't expect that to happen again this week.
No, like I said, a lot of things went right for South Florida in week 1, and we don't expect that to continue on the road here in week 2.
All right, Jesse, that's really, really good. Really good breakdowns and such. Just real quick. Is there anything particular you're looking at for teams to fade? Like when I'm looking at teams to fade, I love bad coaches. You're always going to talk me into fading a team with bad coach, but that's a little bit more in pro. What are you looking at in college football when you're trying to pick teams to fade?
Well, I was planning on coming in here and talking about the SEC and odds to win the playoffs, but it was specifically in the agenda to talk about week 2. But if you talk about the big picture moving forward, some of the teams I mentioned on previous shows, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, and Auburn as long shots in the SEC, they got to be licking their chops after seeing Alabama and Texas come out flat in week 1. And both those teams, you don't want to overreact to the week 1 results, but both those teams appear to have some serious issues. I did not like the coaching from Sarkisian, the way he used Arch Manning. Arch Manning did not play well, but Sark didn't do him any favors either. You can't really like Texas moving forward. And if Texas and Alabama aren't going to be who they thought we were, who does that open the door for? You look at a team like Oklahoma. They play both. They have both those teams on their schedule. Oklahoma, I believe, you can still get them at 20-1 to win the SEC. That's something that I don't mind mentioning.
I had a prop on Arch Manning to throw over 1.5 touchdown passes, and like in the first quarter, I was like, "This is no chance." Like he looked terrible. Was it that Sark like kind of threw him under the bus with the play calling, or did it strike you that they just didn't trust him in that spot? It was just very curious how tentative everything was for them.
Well, failing to convert on all those fourth downs certainly didn't help, and then it puts more pressure on him. I mean, I can't make excuses. I'm not making any excuses for Arch Manning. He was missing wide open receivers. The moment was obviously too big for him. I had Texas in that game. I felt that we've seen enough of Arch Manning that no matter how poorly he plays, he's not going to be a deer in the headlights because he's played college football last year and been in games, and he should know what to expect. And you compare that to Julian Sayin, who didn't have any experience. And unfortunately, we saw the absolute worst version of Arch Manning against Ohio State. And we don't want to overreact, but there's a lot of pressure on the kid now, and it's hard to imagine he's just going to put that behind him very easily.
Yeah. The guy I bet with who lives over in England, he like barely watches college football. He was watching that game and he was like, "What quarterback's supposed to be the big prospect? Which one's the really good one?" Like, no, it's Arch Manning, the guy that just threw the interception. So interesting week one for sure, Jesse. Tell everyone what you have up for clients at WagerTalk.
Well, we do have a 30-day all-access football package, college and NFL, but we throw in the CFL, and I'm doing pretty damn well with CFL this season, hitting around 75%. Number one with CFL this year and the last 5 years since I joined the WagerTalk network. So get that NFL and college football and appreciate some CFL as well.
Absolutely. Don't forget about CFL. I've been telling people that all week. Don't forget about baseball. Don't forget about CFL. So Jesse's going to bring all those sports to you. Go check him out over at WagerTalk. Thanks, Jesse. Great breakdown. Great segment as always. Let's see. Tessie had a question here about getting bets down, and this is not just we'll talk about this. It's not just applicable to Contender Series. This is everything, and especially now that we're dealing with NFL props. You have to know when and how to deal with betting with some of these books like FanDuel and DraftKings, and I noticed Fanatics was mentioned. I spread out my bets. I'm not and I'll do it different from week to week. So I'll bet DraftKings on Contender Series 1 week, then the next week FanDuel, then the next week BetMGM. So that way, on one book, I may only have bet twice on Contender Series in an entire 10 episode season. You should do that with props as well. Don't put all your props on the same book. This sounds counterintuitive. You can't beat the line on props. Even though there's a prop that they have completely mispriced and you know it's going to move, I promise you, if you do that a couple times, you are instantly flagged and you are going to get limited. So when you're betting some of these fringier things like player props, late Contender Series, you got to spread out your bets, and it sucks. But if you beat the line big time, you're instantly going to get taken away. So you just got to think it's a marathon, not a sprint. So my best suggestions is sit out when you know there's a huge line move coming, and just spread out your bets across as many sports books as humanly possible. So that's kind of what I do. So, all right. Travis, we've all dealt with it, guys. We all have dealt with this before. So fire away questions if you ask. There's a way that you can kind of play the game within the game and not get yourself limited. So, all right, let's do all around the world. Let's get some free plays here for everybody. We got a nice little combination of everything here. We're going to start with WNBA. We're going to go to the Sparks at the Dream. Jordan, Canada, over 10.5 points. Here's a great player prop. This line has come out and it's stayed steady, which I don't quite understand. I think this should be higher. She's gone over in 8 out of the last 9 games. But she's not just barely going over. Her last 4 games, she scored at least 13 points or more. So again, when we talk about WNBA, the books get a little lazy. These are called the lazy lines, where they just keep putting out the same prop over and over and over again. We saw this with Rakia Jackson and her 1.5 3-pointers. We got 10 straight wins out of that one. We'll move to the Giants and the Rockies. Ralph is going with a Yurfee. Listen, it's at Colorado, and the Rockies are on a 14-5 Yurfee run. So get a decent price. Fire away on the Giants and the Rockies. Yes, there will be a run in the first inning. And let's take a look at the Giants and Commanders. I broke this game down. There is going to be a Giants and Commanders breakdown video from yours truly. I'll be up later this afternoon. I like this rushing total for Tyrone Tracy, over 57.5 yards rushing. He barely played in the first game against Washington last year, but in the second game, he had 66 yards on 16 carries. The Giants' offensive line is not very good. One of the best ways to hide that is to run the ball. And the Commanders, you can absolutely run on. Their defensive line is weak, and they gave up the 3rd most yards per rush last year. I don't see improvement from it. So Tyrone Tracy, over 57.5 on the rushing. Mark wants to know, any thought on the Cowboys team total? 17.5 seems a little low. Yeah, it does seem a little bit low. These Cowboy games could absolutely turn into shootouts. Their defense is not good, so their offense may be, trying to catch up. Philly's defense is obviously legit, argue one of the best. I mean, it's top 3 in the NFL, but maybe a little let down on ring night, first game of the season, maybe coming up the Super Bowl win. So if you could get under the 17.5 on an alt line, I would love that. Maybe use it as a parlay piece, but I'm certainly not taking unders on Cowboys team totals anytime soon. So running a really nice special here, guys. I believe we mentioned this the other day, 7 days of all access for only $77. Great time to jump on board. We have a huge weekend. NFL week 1, college football week 2. You're going to get every single play, along with MLB, along with UFC, along with cricket, along with tennis. You name a sport, it is included in this. 7 days of all access for just $77. If you've had success with your favorite handicapper, lock in 7 days. If you want to try somebody new, great time. We should have a good amount of bets for all handicappers across WagerTalk. So perfect way to test drive a handicapper you haven't dealt with before, or go to your favorite handicapper and lock in 7 days for just $77. That is available for every handicapper on the deals page over at WagerTalk. No promo code needed. All right, let's bring in Ross, the boss, Benjamin. Ross, we got a lot to talk about here. We got Iowa State. We got Yankees-Astros, and then we get your first time ever doing this segment. This line makes no sense. I want to start with Iowa and Iowa State, though. In-state rivalry here, we got a 3-point spread. Over-under is 41.5. To me, that seems unbelievably high for an Iowa team. Normally, you see Iowa's totals like in the 30s. But what's your breakdown on the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes here?
Yeah, Iowa's improved a little bit offensively. So those anemic offensive days for Iowa, I'm not saying that they're a great offense, but they're certainly better than they were a couple years ago. That change at the offensive coordinators made a world of difference for Iowa. So I think that's why we're seeing that total around 41.5, like you alluded to. We're used to seeing them in the 30s. But having said all that, look, this is an Iowa team that's going to be playing with revenge. They lost a heartbreaker at home to Iowa State last year, 20-19. However, this annual rivalry series, Iowa has won the last 6 games played in Ames. So they've really dominated the Cyclones on their home field in this rivalry. And like I said, offensive coordinator Tim Lester, who came aboard last year, and right away he improved Iowa's offense by 13 points per game and 108 yards per game as compared to the season before. I also like the addition of former South Dakota State quarterback Mark Gronkowski, who comes over in the senior year to take the helm behind center for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And he led the Jackrabbits to 2 national titles at the FCS level in his 3 years as a starter. He also went 49-6. So the kid is a winner. I know he's stepping up in class, but still, FCS football is a pretty good brand when you get into the top 5 or 6 teams, and he fared pretty well in that arena. Iowa State 2-0 this year, and I thought the opening win against Kansas State was pretty impressive, Andy. But now you look back, and it doesn't seem as impressive. If you watch Kansas State last week, barely get by an FCS team in North Dakota, 38-35, and they needed a last-minute touchdown to do so. So I think Iowa State may not be as good as we thought after seeing that Kansas State game. They did hammer South Dakota last week, but this is a whole different entity getting into this rivalry game against a Iowa defense that's going to be very formidable under defensive coordinator Parker. And look, here's the other thing. Game 2 non-conference away dogs are between 1.5 and 6 points, like the Iowa Hawkeyes are. And they're playing with revenge, which they lost last year 20-9. They're coming off a straight-up win by 32 points or fewer. 27-5 against the spread since 1982. That's 84%. And not only 27-5 against the spread, those underdogs won 22 of those 32 games outright. I'm going to go with the Iowa Hawkeyes plus the 3 at Iowa State on Saturday.
A pretty impressive percentage there, 27-5. It's not just a couple games. So very interesting there. Let's move to MLB real quick, and let's take a look at this Yankees Astros. We got Warren for the Yankees. We got Alexander for the Astros. Yankees a -30 favorite right now. I believe the line is moving towards the Yankees. I didn't see the game last night. I read about it that the Astros had quite the problem putting bunts down. I didn't see any of it, but I heard about it. We got the over-under sitting at 9 here. I believe landed on the number 8, which was the opening number yesterday. So what's your breakdown on Yankees and Astros today?
Yeah, let's focus in on that total, Andy, which is 9. Will Warren is talk about redheaded stepchild. He's the redheaded stepchild of the Yankees starting rotation. However, he's pitched fairly well over his last 5 starts, a 2.84 ERA. His last 3 on the road, an 0.61 ERA. Here, the thing with Warren, though, he's not giving you a lot of innings because his propensity to have control issues at times. But the Yankees bullpen has been lights out over the last week. As a matter of fact, specifically over the last 6 games, a 1.93 ERA, 0.75 whip as a staff. Not only that, the Yankees bullpen over their last 6 games, 20 strikeouts against 1 walk. That's unheard of for a bullpen to have that good of control and issue only 1 walk over a 6-game period of time. The Yankees have won 8 of their last 9. And during this stretch, they've only allowed 2.6 runs per game. The Yankees have allowed 4 runs or fewer in their last 7 games. And this year, they're 15-4 to the under after allowing 4 runs or fewer in 5 straight games. So that definitely qualifies tonight. Jason Alexander, I mean, if you just take away everything else, because his numbers aren't impressive whatsoever. However, in his 1 start against the New York Yankees this year, he pitched 6 innings of scoreless baseball, allowing only 1 hit, walking 3. And against this current Yankees roster, not against the Yankees franchise overall, but the players on this roster right now for the New York Yankees, they're only 3 for 26 lifetime against Alexander. That's a 115 team batting average. The Houston bullpen, they've been very good over their last 7 games with a staff 2.57 ERA and more impressive 33 strikeouts in 21 innings pitched. So they get themselves out of a lot of jams with that strikeout to inning pitch ratio over the last week. The Astros have played 7-1-1 to the under in their last 9, and they're a major culprit on why those low-scoring affairs have occurred, because over those 9 games, they've averaged just 2.6 runs per game. I'm going to go with the New York Yankees and the Houston Astros under the total of 9. And Andy, I know I'm going to be in the minority with that pick.
Hey, sometimes that's really good. I think we talked about it yesterday. You want to be on the side of the books. You're normally in a really, really good spot. So, all right, let's do a brand new segment. This segment we call This Line Makes No Sense. All right, Ross, you were able to take a look at some of these lines. What did you come across where this line makes no sense?
So let me preface this by saying it makes sense to me, but it certainly jumped off the page when I saw it. I usually look for games like this and try to make sense of what doesn't make sense, if that makes sense.
Yes, very well
Anyway,
said. Very well said.
Sometimes I like to humor myself, Andy. Anyway, look, the game between Ohio, who's hosting a Big 12 opponent in West Virginia, this opened with Ohio being just a 3-point underdog. And you stop and say, wait a minute, you got a MAC team as just a 3-point underdog against a team from the Big 12. Right? You know, those who don't follow college football avidly or professionally like we do, I think that this would shock them to see this, and the impulsive action would be to take the team from the Power 4 conference against a MAC school, even though they're on the road. And then you factor in that West Virginia has, since 2000, my database goes back to 1980. So since 2003, West Virginia is 18-0 straight up against teams from the MAC. And then I take it one step further and I say, well, how does Big 12 teams do against MAC teams? And since 2004, the Big 12 has gone 51-12 straight up against MAC teams. And not only that, they've gone 39-23-1 against the spread. That's 63% against the MAC. So this just looks like a trap to me, Andy. You know, it's this Ohio team's not bad. I had them last week as a 10-point underdog against Kentucky. They're the favorite to win the MAC. They have a lot of returning starters. And this West Virginia, you know, I'm not a big Rich Rod guy. I never have been. But I also don't like these situations where schools bring back a coach that had a lot of success there previously and then went on to other stops and failed miserably and now come back. And Rich Rod, you know, at the other stops he's been at, he failed miserably at Michigan. He did have, I got to give him credit, he did a great job at Jacksonville State, but that's not a Power 4 conference. You know, you look at guys like Greg Schiano, hasn't been able to recapture the magic he had at Rutgers before. You look at Mac Brown coming back to North Carolina after having a successful run years ago. It just doesn't work to me. So, again, this looks like it doesn't make sense, but when you really stop and look inside the numbers, it does. And I'm not giving you a pick on this game. I'm just saying this is a game I'm going to stay away from because I just think it looks like a trap. I think a lot of people are going to jump all over West Virginia just for the reasons I said. But I do think realistically, when you look inside the numbers and what both teams bring back, I mean, West Virginia brought in 50 transfers. It's going to take time to gel, and they played an FCS opponent last week. And like I said, Ohio went on the road last week against an SEC opponent and gave them all they can handle in a one-score game.
That's a great breakdown, Ross. I love it. I think you nailed that segment. Yeah, find a line that doesn't make any sense. Tell us to be worried about it. That it's very trappy. I think that was really, really well done. Well done. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Andy.
All right, what do you have to promote for everybody?
Well, last week in college football, 4-3, not great, but we made a profit of 3.35 units. Thank goodness for my 5% best bet cashing on LSU as an underdog outright at Clemson. So, and by the way, Andy, if those of you out there who watched my college football betting preview with Teddy Covers, we did from the Westgate Sportsbook a couple weeks ago, still on my YouTube channel, YouTube page, I should say, wt.buzz/Ross TV. I picked LSU to win the SEC at plus 700. Also picked LSU to win the national title at plus 1,400. So, like an LSU at this point, Andy. They did me well. In college football, number one last year in both win percentage and also in units earned. Over the last 2 seasons in college football, number one in units earned combined over the last 2 seasons in college football. In Major League Baseball, bad night last night going 0-2, but still number one in Major League Baseball this year, in up around 80 units since mid-May. So, again, Major League Baseball treat me well. In NFL, we go into the season on an 8-3 run. I have a Thursday winning total up right now, Dallas and Philadelphia. Get it? I also have the Monday night winning side in the game between the Vikings and Bears. And we'll have at least 3 picks on Saturday in college football and at least 1 on Friday, possibly 2 on Friday. So we'll see. So that's what you got to look forward to, folks. You can get my college football annual package for just $5.99. We'll take you right through the national championship game. I don't know why you wouldn't consider buying that with everything I just told you. It's all factual. It's all backed by WagerTalk.com. And if you wanted college football and NFL combined, great price, $8.49. Take advantage of these offers right now, folks. And also, if you want to give me a test run, it sounds like my single days when I used to date a lot of women. If you want to give me a test run, then $77 for 7 days in Major League Baseball, NFL, and college football. You can't beat that with a stick, Andy.
Oh, tell me we're clipping that where Ross says you can give him a test run for $77. Ross Benjamin, great segment. Great segment, Ross. I can't wait to do this again next week. Good luck. Let's have a great weekend.
Appreciate you, Andy.
That's hilarious. All right, so someone asked if we could do the month bankroll reset. Absolutely, we can. We can also do the last 7 days recap. I said there was something I was supposed to answer in the chat, and now I can't find it. So post again what I was supposed to answer in the chat. I know somebody said we're going to talk about Survivor. We're going to do that on Fridays. So myself and Dan are going to answer. We're going to do football Survivor and probably the Super Contest on Fridays. Football Fridays are going to be huge this year, guys. Gianni's going to be here. Teddy Covers is going to be here. Marco's going to be here. Dan and I are going to do Survivor. Hopefully we can get, fingers crossed we can get Kelly to come on every once in a while to talk about some of these spreads, but that's also going to be big NFL props. I know we're getting questions about it in the chat. So the props are out now for week 1. After this week, they're not going to come out till Thursday and Friday. So Friday will be a huge football day. And like I said, we got to be really, really careful about betting props too early. You will absolutely get limited within a few weeks if you beat some of these NFL prop numbers. So, WagerTalk odds not showing tickets or money. The reason why we're not really showing them is because it's really, really hard to get accurate information. That's bottom line. Like, we may have the numbers, but we can't confirm it. I mean, some of it's really, really hard to get proper information from the book. So if we're not going to give out proper information, there's no reason to put it up there. So pretty simple answer. If we can't give you the best, most accurate numbers, we don't want to be those guys that are putting out tickets and money and then they're not even close to accurate. So, and Odds Logic does have that though. Yes, Tessie is right. Odds Logic, if you're interested in these Steam reports, if you're interested in these line moves, Odds Logic has everything. So, all right. Let's see. Let's do our 7-day recap here, Chris, and then we'll show everyone how we do our bankroll reset. We had a really, really nice week. This was one of those weeks where if you bet the WagerTalk percentages, you're up more than if you did flat betting because we hit some of the bigger plays. No NFL plays. College football was a disaster. We lost 7.25 units, including our first team total of the year. That wasn't even close. So it was a terrible read. WNBA, we only had one play. Lost that one. Soccer, basically break even. MMA was good. We only had one event. We hit our one play with that. Auto racing continues to be absolutely dynamite. Formula One and NASCAR, big part of the bankroll, up 6.5 units. MLB went 0-1 on the team total. Tennis in the U.S. Open was the big winner. We were up 17 units just in tennis. So Corbin is our tennis department. If you guys follow our tennis plays, you guys know over the last 3 years, you could seriously build a big bankroll just by following tennis plays. And Corbin had a great U.S. Open. So cricket department did fantastic. Only 2 plays, hit both of them for 6 units. And we have a cricket play that goes off in an hour, actually. So, all right. And then, Chris, we want to pull up the spreadsheet. So this is a free spreadsheet that's in our Discord. You can use it. You could use it to track your bankroll if you want. But how I do it is we start with a certain amount of money. At the end of the month, we see how much we're up or down. We plug it in. It tells us what our new bankroll total is. And that way we can determine what is a 1 unit play. 1 unit is 1% of our bankroll. So if we started with 10,000, we had a great month of August. We were coming off of a couple losing months. So we had a huge week in August. So we were up 31 units. So that makes our bankroll 13,100. Now we can establish what 1 unit is, which is now, 131. So that's how we do it. Full disclosure, I'll just tell you guys, I pulled basically all my money out of my bankroll to pay for this new business that I started. So I'm basically starting my bankroll from scratch. I built it up. We took a pretty big hit on the bankroll in spring, but I had plenty to start this new business of mine. So I decided that was well worth the investment. So my bankroll, we're starting over with a small amount, but we can build it up. We've shown that we can do this in a matter of years. And I think my money is going to be better invested in this business that I started. In fact, we just launched our first shipment to Amazon today. So very, very excited and terrified. Absolutely terrified. But all right, guys, thank you so much for doing it. Dan is back from his honeymoon. I believe he'll be back tomorrow. Does Dan not love us anymore? No, he loves his newlywed wife. That's why he went on a honeymoon, Jake. Sorry, you're taking a back seat to Dan's new bride. So no, Dan will be back tomorrow. And then Friday, you will be getting Dan and I going over Survivor and everything. But again, guys, Football Fridays, you do not want to miss. We are jam-packed. The show might go a little bit longer, but it is going to have so much information to get you ready for the weekend. So really, really excited about that. We're going to do it again tomorrow. On Thursday, get ready for Thursday Night Football for the kickoff of the regular season, so make sure you join us. We'll have props, we'll have spreads, we'll have totals, we'll have college football, we'll have MLB, everything to get you ready for the weekend. So hit the like button and leave us a comment. Tell us who you like this weekend. Tell us who you like today. Give us a best bet in the comment section. Thank you so much. Great day from the chat. You guys rock as always. Good luck on your plays tonight, and take care.